Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Yesterday, November 11th, 2022, one day after the anniversary of Kanye West's mother's passing, this headline went viral. And I'm sure you've already seen this because the clip is everywhere. But Kanye, he said in his own words that his mother was sacrificed. And he pointed out that he's not the only person who's had this happen to him in the world of entertainment. He named Michael Jordan, he named Bill Cosby, and he named others. And you know what? Let's just start by playing the clip for the person who hasn't seen it yet somehow. And then we'll go over the names he listed because we've covered all of these things in years past. And for those who have not seen my interview with Larry Johnson of the Kansas City Chiefs, he came on my show January of 2020. And of course, Larry Johnson used to be close with Jay-Z and Kanye West back when he was signed to the Rockefeller label, back when he was a star in the NFL. And in the interview I did with him, the thing he spoke the most openly about was that he was quite confident that Kanye West had his mother sacrificed for his music career. And, you know, here we are more than 2 years later, and you're pretty much hearing Kanye acknowledge that. So let's watch this clip, and then let's go over the names that he brought up and more. And like we did in the last live stream, I'm going to open this up for other people to join who might be skeptics or might have something else to share or questions. But here we go. Let's watch this clip first.
They try to suppress you, but that's how they try to categorize.
They can't control you. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
Not
You see,
you.
it ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
It's up.
Not you.
You know what I'm saying? And just for Minister Farrakhan, I love you, but the way you read that, I took that as a slight. You know what I'm saying? I'll take no disrespect from nobody. So let's get on the phone. Let's talk that out. I don't care who you are. I ain't taking no slice from nobody, right? I ain't taking no slice from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah. I'm Christian
Michael
too.
Jordan, what about him? His dad, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You know, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize. And God loved me. You understand? They hit me. Gap, Adidas, all that away. Still, Forbes, who hate me, right, had to write net worth 400 million. Jesus is king. God loved me.
That's more important thing in life.
That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? And this truth is going to be heard. I can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puppies, that Lil Boozy, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all because they have legal. I never killed nobody, right? I'm the pussy that never killed nobody, right? But that means I can say whatever I want and not go to jail.
It's scary. They can't control you. They can't. They try to suppress you, but that's how they try to categorize.
They can't control you.
Okay, so that's just the clip starting over. We missed the opening part because I had it muted. But right there, he specifically named Michael Jordan's father, Bill Cosby's son. Don't forget about what happened to his daughter as well at age 44, Enos and Enza. And he named Dr. Dre's son. And if you guys have not read my first book, Letters and Numbers, you can buy it, but I've also made it free to download as an ebook. You get the entire book. I have the deaths of Enos Cosby in there, Michael Jordan's father, and Dr. Dre's son. And I remember what happened to them all off the top of my head. But again, for people who don't know, let's just start with Bill Cosby and Enos Cosby. So Enos Cosby died January 16th, 97. Fateful year, same year Notorious B.I.G. died. It wasn't long after the death of Tupac. Notice he was born April 15th, 69. Died January 16th, 97. Bill Cosby was 59 years old at the time. And before I go any further with this, again, there's books out there like this, The Kabbalistic Murder Code. The Kabbalistic Murder Code. If you don't know what Kabbalah is, it's Jewish mysticism. And again, some people will tell you Kabbalah is all evil. I don't think that's true. That, again, there's a good half of Kabbalah and there's an evil half. The good half is about understanding knowledge within the world. It's supposed to connect you and Creator, give you a better understanding of the spiritual nature of this world. And as far as I can tell, those teachings are true. But there is a dark half known as the Qliphoth, which is associated with evil, and it's associated with things like ritual murder and sorcery and spell casting and having influence over others. So that's why there's a book titled this, The Kabbalistic Murder Code. And again, shout out to the woman who sent this to me back in 2014, Jewish Wisdom in Numbers. Again, Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism. Numbers have meaning. All numbers are dualistic. There's a good side. There's a bad side. And there's some very repetitive patterns with deaths in Hollywood and certain numbers. But I want to remind people that the spirituality that's so attached to numbers and numerology is Judaism. And I can't say much more because I just did an hour-long live stream on Kanye West that had zero hate speech in it, but it was still taken down for hate speech just for stating facts. So anyway, and again, that's the world we live in, right? We live in a world where you can talk about any religion and you can say anything you want about any religion except for one. You can't say certain things about Judaism, no matter how true they are, because they'll be taken down for hate speech. And really, it's just for pointing out the things that are hateful about their religion. But again, I'm not trying to, all religions are good and bad. All things in this world are good and bad. Anyhow, Bill Cosby was 59 years old when his son died. And this number matters a lot. Again, it's not an accident that Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. The last day of February is the 59th day of the year. It's not an accident that Motown Records came out in 1959. It's not an accident that Coolio just recently died at age 59 on the 59th day of his age on a 59 date numerology. And it's not an accident. I've talked about this pattern with the ritualistic murder of Black people. For the person out there who gets mad that I say Black people and wants me to say melanated people, again, language is to be understood, you know. Anyhow, and don't forget, the word Black has gematria of 11, right? Kanye is coming out on 11/11 and making this statement. The man is still a puppet on strings. Anyhow, that said, Cosby 59, look at how perfect it is. From Enos Cosby's April 15th birthday to his death on January 16th, which was one day after MLK's birthday, it was his 277th day of his age. And why does that matter? The number 277 is the 59th prime number. We've seen this pattern so many times. Enos Cosby dead on his 277th day of his age, the 59th prime number, while Bill Cosby is 59 years old. Okay? He brought up Michael, well, here, by the way, in the language of gematria, this Jewish practice of coding numbers into words. Again, in Kabbalah, it's stated on the opening page of the Book of Formation, God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. Notice, in this code, Negro equals 59. So does slave, so does Rasta, so does blues. They all equal 59. There's a reason, again, that so many young Black people, I should say young and old, end up dead in connection to this same number. And just for the record, there is another cipher known as Jewish Gematria. Derek recently renamed it Latin Gematria on his calculator. But in this cipher, the word kill is 59. Okay? Kill is 59. Notice how kill is also 44. Recently, Bill Cosby lost his daughter at age 44. That was Enza Cosby. Bill Cosby's birthday is the 193rd day of the year, which is the 44th prime number. His son's name, Enos Cosby, has gematria 44. When you think about Black history in 44, you should think of the killing of MLK on 4/4. You should think of the killing of Malcolm X on a date with 44 numerology. His assassin, Thomas Hagen, got 44 years in prison. Of course, the first Black president ends up being number 44. A lot of famous Black running backs at Syracuse who wore the number 44. some of them who died very young. If you're new here, Gematria. There are 4 base ciphers, and they are the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with the rules numerology. When Enos Cosby died, it was 6 months and 4 days after Bill Cosby's birthday, a bit like 64. And notice how the name Enos Cosby, or hold on. Am I spelling it wrong? Oh, it's a double N. That's what I'm doing wrong. Enos Cosby is 44 when you use the alphabetic order and rules numerology. And again, he loses his son Enos, who has the name 44 connection, and then he loses his daughter Enza at age 44. That was more recently. Enza Cosby, not only did she die at age 44, she died 44 days after her birthday. Notice how words like kill and execution have gematria 44. There's something called septenary gematria, which is also important. African Americans 44 in that cipher. Think about Obama, number 44, elected 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. But Enza was born February 23rd. She died, she died February 23rd, 44 days before what would have been her upcoming birthday, April 8th. 44 days before her birthday, she was dead. And, you know, so Bill Cosby, he also brought up Dr. Dre. And remember, Dr. Dre's son supposedly committed suicide. Dr. Dre's son died on Kobe Bryant's birthday, who died in a big racial ritual, January 26th. 2020, as we covered, dead at age 41 on the 41st day of the Pope's age while traveling from Catholic Mass. Again, as you'll learn, it is the Jesuits who are a merger of the Jews and the Catholic Church from the time of the Protestant Reformation. But notice how they coded 59 into Kobe's nickname with Black Mamba. Anyhow, Dr. Dre, big LA star like Kobe, he lost his son on Kobe's birthday and supposedly from suicide. But the date of the death was August 23rd, 2008, which was a date with 59 numerology. And from Dr. Dre's birthday, Dr. Dre, born February 18th, from his birthday to the death of his son was 187 days later. And again, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg pretty much made that number familiar to everyone. It is the homicide code in California for the police. And Dre and Snoop had the song Deep Cover, where the chorus is it's a 187 on an undercover cop. And with regards to the Jesuits, if you write out Society of Jesus, their formal title, it equals 187. A lot of suspicious deaths in connection to 187. So again, it's number games. You know, there's numbers that are connected to racial history, and then there's numbers that are connected to entertainers because that's what they're remembered for. But again and again, you just see the same types of patterns persisting. And let's see. Michael Jordan. Of course, he brought up Michael Jordan's father. Michael Jordan won the NBA Finals. Notice how in the most pure cipher, the dark blue cipher, NBA Finals is 33. In that same cipher, Michael's 33. When he won his third finals, his father ended up dead 33 days later. And here, if you go to my old website that I don't post on anymore, I haven't posted here since 2020, the beginning of 2020, but freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. There are over 30,000 posts archived on this site. And let me just pull up Michael Jordan, father. Let me see if I got it here. Okay, it was July 23rd, 93. And his father was James R. Jordan Sr. And his father's name, James Raymond Jordan Sr. Look at this. He's dead on 23/7, right? His full name in the most simple cipher is 237. Dead on 23/7. Again, 33 days after Jordan wins his third NBA Finals. And his name, you know, if you leave off the senior and just do James Raymond Jordan, you see how it's 74? Look at where he was killed. He was killed at the intersection of US 74 and Interstate 95. And this is a really appropriate day to give this lesson because the leader of the Jesuit order turns 74 years old today. His name is Arturo Sosa. And the reason I knew Gematria was legit when I looked into it was because of the number 74. It was just so obvious to me that this was real. And again, let's get rid of everything but the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. Again, remember this code is Jewish. Jewish equals 74, okay? Occult is 74, meaning hidden. This stuff is hidden knowledge. Kabbalah is hidden knowledge. This Jewish wisdom in numbers is occult because it's hidden. So Jewish, occult. Modern Freemasonry is based in the teachings of the Old Testament. Masonic is 74. English is 74. Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, is 74. Killing is 74. Jesus is 74, who was Jewish, right? He's from Judea. Cross is 74. Messiah is 74. Gospel is 74. Parables is 74. The word holiday is 74. Think about this nation's birthday, 7-4. If you use numerology, Independence Day is 74. So is Jesus Christ, the Society of Jesus. When Kanye gets done talking about the ritual murder, he says how much money he has, and then he uses that as the justification for, you know, why God favors him, because he's still worth 400 million. And we'll talk about all the symbolism on the money in light of the Jesuits, who again are Jewish and Catholic. But 74, okay? It's the killing number. Remember, Tupac, his alias at the end of his life, Machiavelli, 74. They put out the album of him on the cross like Jesus on Remember the 5th of November, the day that's very special to the Jesuits. Last year on the anniversary of that, Travis Scott had a big stage that was a cross. You have all these deaths in front of the cross stage, right? For the record, rapper, 74. Notorious B.I.G. dead 74 days from his birthday. And a million more. So Michael Jordan's father's name even has the 74, right? Dead at the intersection of Interstate 74. Now, with regards to it being the intersection of Interstate 74 and 95, where he was found dead, like a cross, the Jesuits' original purpose was to counter the 95 Theses. Shout out to Rambo. Rambo would always point out how the Bulls, they came out to the song called Sirius. Sirius. And the Heliacal rising of Sirius is July 23rd, the day that his father was dead. And again, 33 days after he won the finals that year. What age do they say Jesus went on the cross at? Age 33. If I write out the Jesuit order, it's 177. When Bill Cosby's son died, he died 177 days from Bill Cosby's birthday. You see? The Jesuits have their fingerprints over all these rituals. We know they control the world of entertainment. Remember when Coolio just died in the huge ritual? He died on the anniversary of Stevie Wonder putting out the song Pastime Paradise. What the sample is for Gangsta's Paradise. And don't forget the name of Coolio's song, Gangsta's Paradise, was 271, and he was found dead on the 271st day of the year. I'll go back and show you this. 1993 NBA Finals. Chicago Bulls won it. They defeated the Phoenix Suns down on the 33rd parallel. The Suns... The Jesuit logo, the sun is 93 million miles away, says the science book. In 93, you got the Suns in the finals, losing to Jordan, who came into the league the same year as David Stern, who just happened to be Jewish. I know certain people would rather us just point out that they're all businessmen, but again, for all the Piers Morgans of the world out there that say, well, what's it matter about somebody's religion? Why don't you bring me on for an interview? Do I have to put out a rap album first? Here, I'll explain to you why it matters if they're all Jewish businessmen, because Jewish people are into things that are a little bit different than, who they'd refer to as Goyim. They're into things like this. And that's why their numbers keep showing up on everything that just keeps happening in the world, So the finals that year ended on June 20th. Can be written 20/6 like 206. In Jewish gematria, sacrifice is 206. Let's not forget Scottie Pippen was on that team, and let's not forget what just happened to his son at age 33. He dies on the first day of Taurus, which in astrology is the bull at age 33. Of course, Pippen wore number 33. Charles Barkley's in the write-up. Kanye even brought up Charles Barkley and Shaq. But okay, from June 20th to July 23rd, I mean, you should be able to do the math, right? There's 30 days in June, so it's 10 more days till the end of June, 23 days more into July, so that's 33 days later. And of course, Jordan wearing number 23 for the majority of his career. So, and understand this stuff's going on all the time, you guys. We know what just happened to Takeoff and the Migos. Did you see that a former Charger was found dead this week? He was found dead on the 137th day of his age. Chargers is 137. And think about it, a former Chargers found dead just before Sunday Night Football this week, where the Chargers will face the 49ers. That was the year the 49ers won the 75th NFL season, kind of like how the Warriors just won the 75th NBA season, both represented San Francisco. But the Chargers don't just play in primetime this week. They also play primetime next week. So a former Charger just happens to get found dead at a relatively young age before back-to-back games for the Chargers. And with the Chargers now being in LA, he's found dead on November 8th. Remember, few years ago, LA burned on November 8th. Los Angeles, California equals 118. It's on the 118th meridian west. It was established on September 4th, the day leaving 118 days left in the year. In Jewish gematria, death and homicide are 118. People aren't going to worry too much about Adrian Dingle. People mostly only get interested when it's a really big name, famous rapper. Famous rapper dies, a lot of people care. Less famous rapper dies by the numbers, not as many people care. But the point I'm always trying to make is these are all human beings. They're all part of this world of entertainment. And the reason people don't realize how often celebrities are getting offed by the code is because a lot of times it is Adrian Dingle. Nobody remembers Adrian Dingle. I shouldn't say nobody remembers him. Hardly anybody remembers Adrian Dingle. So yeah, I mean, we could go down memory lane and we could talk about 5,000 more of these deaths by the numbers, but I just want people to understand what's going on. Again, the Kabbalistic murder code. Jewish wisdom in numbers, the Jewish practice of Kabbalah, letters and numbers, patterns, intelligence. You wonder how they could be so bold with what they do and just keep doing it over and over. But, you go in and you read some books published by some Jewish authors. There's a book out there by a Jewish author on the IQ of races. And right at the beginning of the book, it shows the chart. And again, I'm not saying this is true, but right at the beginning of the book, it shows that Jews have the highest IQ and everybody else's IQ is a lot less. And then it shows that black people have the smallest IQs. And I just want you to imagine if a black author came out, imagine Kyrie Irving decided to publish a book. And according to his research, black people have the highest IQs and Jews have the lowest IQs. How do you think that would go over in the media? How do you think it would go over in the media? Do you think it would go without pass? Or do you think it would be nonstop coverage of the anti-Semite Kyrie Irving? How dare Kyrie Irving say he has a higher IQ than a Jew? So anyway, hopefully I made my point well enough. I've been making the same point for nearly a decade, covering this information day in and day out and covering thousands of stories just like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the link in the chat for where we're streaming for people who want to hop on. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to let one person hop on at a time in order. And, we're going to do a timer. You got up to 5 minutes to make your point, get your question. But I just want to keep it moving and get a lot of people on. And rather than bring on a bunch of people at once, because we did that, and then in the last stream, there was some weird glitch. Do Philly's Ace is the first in the room. You got to at least allow your mic so I can connect you, because right now your mic is not connected. Okay, Do Philly's Ace is the first in the room. On. You got up to 5 minutes, and well, just like that, he left. But yeah, if you want to come on and you got a question, you want to bring up a death from the past. Okay, he's back.
Hello?
You're the first in the room. What's up?
Hey, Zach, I'm glad that you do what you do, man. The thing I want to know that since we've been bringing out this knowledge, everything, is there a way that we can start since we have the knowledge that you put out there, that we can stop all this shit from happening? Because we know where it's coming from. We need to pull something together to stop this shit from keep going, man. Because people are getting sacrificed. People are just don't want to stop watching sports and doing all this other stuff, but they're not taking into account people are being sacrificed or being victimized all the time. Can we find a way to? Because we have the tools, and we don't want to wait till they want to wipe us all out, because people don't want to wake up, because they would rather watch sports and stuff like that, and don't want to listen to the things that are being put out there, because they should know that this is all out there now, that people are starting to come out with things that they have to know this is all coming out now.
So my answer to your question is, I think the answer to that is yes. The world was not always this way. It became this way. And the people who've made it this way, they've been working very hard to make it the way it is. And the people who've done this to us, they're very advanced. They got the technology, they got the organization, they got the network, they got the history, they got the knowledge. That's the advantage they have over the people. The few are organized, the many are not. And again, I've been here for almost 10 years, every single day, pumping out the knowledge. And once upon a time, I felt like we were on the verge of changing the world. But since the censorship's come on, it's hard to have much of an audience, and it's a lot harder to get out the word. Again, I think the day we'll see the world change is when enough people find their courage to speak up and share on whatever platform they have and whatever circle of influence they have. I read a book when I was younger that it takes 20% of a population to change the minds of essentially the other 80%. If there's a 20% of a group going hard at something, they will change a lot of minds in that other 80%, and eventually that other 80% will become the vast majority. So again, it's like this year I've been out all over the country trying to get people to rally in communities, and we've done it in small groups. But I just think it's going to take more of an effort like that. Groups of people showing up in their community at the next time the rock star, the rapper comes in for the concert, a group of truth seekers out there sharing the knowledge. Oh, Jay-Z's in town. Hey, let's talk about what's going on with Jay-Z's career. Let's talk about, things like Pimp C dying on Jay-Z's birthday and whatnot. You can do this for almost every entertainer down the line. Show up at the sports game. Talk about all the debt. I mean, for people who missed it, I was out in front of the Portland Trailblazer Stadium after Cliff Robinson died. And sadly, Portland, Oregon, everybody who lives there now is not from Portland. They're all from California. They don't remember who Cliff Robinson is. But again, it's going to take more people doing things like that, showing up at the game. I remember when we went down to New Orleans. We went out in front of the New Orleans Stadium, and Zion Williamson had just come into the league. Remember, Zion Williamson, the sweepstakes for him was on Zionist Israel's birthday of all days. And, we were out there engaging with fans, and we had a lot of them like, can I record this? Whoa, this is interesting. We just need people getting out to these games and saying, listen, you guys got to stop buying these tickets. Look at what you're supporting. Look how evil this stuff is. People will get it. I mean, imagine if that's what was going on every night at every NFL. I mean, it should be the college stadiums too. If there's groups of people at every stadium getting out the knowledge, getting out the word, it wouldn't just change overnight. But if it kept happening, our numbers would grow. Things would change. Fred, we got another minute. You got one more minute, and then we got to let the next person on.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to really say, because this is ridiculous that people are getting killed and they're just getting away with it scot-free. Or if they're just laughing in our face about it. Like, oh, you ain't going to do nothing. Like, like we're peons on. They don't
That's
care.
exactly how their attitude is right now. Like, we're not going to do nothing about it. But that's, I think we'll get the last laugh eventually. I think that's the one thing. There's a lot more of us than them. The day people stand up and find their courage, they'll find themselves way outnumbered. So,
All right, thanks, Zach. I appreciate you, man.
appreciate it, man. Yeah, you have a good night. Okay, Trevon is up next. What's up?
Hey man, I think I discovered your page around 20. No, it had to be around when Kobe died. When I was younger, I always thought like the Illuminati was real. I always told my classmates. I was in like 5th grade. Everybody thought I was crazy, but I don't know. Like as I got older, I started seeing that these people became a lot more bold with showing that, basically revealing that everything I thought was true. And I don't know. A lot of people still deny it. And even with the Kanye West thing, I just feel like some people will still find a way to deny everything that's being said. And it's just crazy. Like with Kobe Bryant dying, I think that's when I discovered your page, when Kobe passed. And it was just crazy how LeBron passed him in Philly, and then he goes on to just pass the next day. It was just so weird. And it was just like nobody batting an eye at it. It was just weird. Like, I don't know. But I'm from Chicago. And I always spoke out about it, no matter how weird anybody thought I was or anything like that. I always spoke out on it because I was like, man, I felt like it was so obvious, and even you spoke on it, when you were younger and you saw through it, and just some people can see it and some people just can't. I don't know.
Yeah, my friend, he says just some of us have a gift to see what's going on. But if that's true, we got to help other people get the gift, because this stuff is blatant and it's evil. It's just we, the people of this world, are allowing serious evil to go on. And again, the reason I've always marketed my work more towards Black community is because they're the ones that are getting the worst of this. I mean, there are people of all races who are sacrificed. I'm wearing Chris Cornell hoodie that somebody sent me with the Jesuit sun around it because they got him too. That there are people of all races that are getting sacrificed. But by and large, I mean, you look at it, over half of these ritualistic deaths are people from the Black community. And again, I mean, you got Kyrie and Kanye kind of pointing out what's true, and look at how they're demonized. Like, oh, you can't even talk about that. You're an anti-Semite, which is another, that word Semite's been stolen. Look up what the actual definition of Semitic is and see if it even applies in the way we use it today. It doesn't. And yeah, it's so in your life right now, the people around you, what do they think about this? What's going on with Kanye and Kyrie?
Well, I've been telling my friend about all of this like for years, and I think it's gotten to the point where it's kind of undeniable. But he wasn't too sure on it, but he kind of like heard me out sometimes because we were always close friends. But I feel like it's getting to the point where it's like even he can't deny it. I have an older sister. I tell her about these things, and she's very open to it, and she definitely hears me out, and she saw the thing with Kanye, and I told her about it, and she definitely agrees. So some people can't see through it, and I don't know, but I just try to get people to live a different type of lifestyle, because even though they do see through it, I feel like they still move a certain way, or like he still cares about basketball or is amazed about, oh, this person did this in the NBA. And even though sometimes I get a little like excited about it or whatever the case, I don't get too excited or give my energy to it because I know it's all fake,
Right.
But
You know what? I mean, to your point about that, as Americans, so many of us, especially as men, we grow up loving sports. We play sports. We watch sports. It's our culture. It's our identity. So I don't have anything. I'm not like, I grew up playing sports nonstop. That was my life growing up. But recognize, like, you can celebrate the athleticism, but these guys are playing in leagues that are rigged and scripted. I mean, if you really want to see who's the best basketball player out there, we got to end the NBA. If you want to know who's the best in the NFL, you got to end the NFL. You got to end the MLB. Let's create some new leagues. I'm not saying let's give up sports. Let's create some real leagues that aren't controlled by you-know-who, and then let's see what happens in some real competition. The reason they don't want that is because then it would be too easy for the gambler to go out and bet on the right. there's no such thing as any given Sunday anymore. The best team's going to crush the team that sucks. The Lions aren't just going to show up and beat the top team on any given Sunday. I mean, that's why it's a joke that people keep supporting these leagues. They're obvious bullshit. Yeah. They're ran by the sickest of people. People are being ritually sacrificed, and people are making the dumbest argument. How do you rig a sports game? How about pull your head out of your ass and read a history book and see how much rigged sports there's been in the past all over the world, including in the United States of America. Read about the Black Sox. It's not hard to rig a sports game. Some of you guys are like, how do you rig a home run? Have you ever watched these guys take batting practice? They can hit the ball out of the park on every swing. I mean, it's like you guys ask just like the dumbest questions, like you're born yesterday. And I mean, it's just
and low key, I thought about the basketball thing, but I was just like, okay, with LeBron winning on King James' birthday, and I remember going to work. I actually work at Checkers, and I was with a coworker, and I'm telling him these things, and he's basically like on the phone with somebody, but he's mocking it. But you basically writing off all of the points that I made. You can't just write
a copy of that book and show them about how the Jew says they have the highest IQ and everybody else is a lot less, and who's at the bottom, and then say, look, are you trying to validate this book? Because I really think that's what it is with a lot of people. You're letting these people just make a mockery of your existence every day. And you guys are, I mean, I think all of you guys who think this stuff is bullshit, I think maybe those Jews are right what they wrote about the IQ in the book. Because this shit is so transparent. Yeah, I mean, that's what I get sick of too. Like, oh, who cares if he won on real King James' birthday? Well, you must be fucking retarded if you think that's well, you didn't get in on the 40-1 that we helped so many people win on. Again, we said LeBron, I guaranteed he was coming back to win on real King James' birthday. It was over. Not to mention, I was telling you guys about how Nate Thurman was his father. And let's not forget how he ended up dead at age 74, 27 days after LeBron scored 27. And let's not forget who ended up dead right before that game. Anton Yelchin, the actor, reminded that they do kill white people. Anton Yelchin with the 103 birth numerology, dead at age 27 before that game. In the Cavs' 103rd game of the season, which is the 27th prime, as LeBron drops 27. And then his daddy's dead 27 days later. And why did he score 27 in the biblical riddle? How many books are in the New Testament? 27. King James Bible. I mean, man, it's all biblical.
That's crazy. I want to ask you something. Since I'm from Chicago, we have a lot of rappers that ended up passing. I only got into your work around 2020, but I wanted to ask about like L.A. Capone. He's connected with Lil Durk. He passed. It's crazy that his rap name is L.A. Capone because his real name is Leonard Anderson, and so basically he just used like L.A. Capone because those are his initials. But he ended up passing 5 days after his birthday, and he died at the age of 17. And he was one of my favorite rappers. But I remember somebody pointed it out, and this is before I got into Gematria, but they pointed out that he died 5 days after his birthday, just like Al Capone. Al Capone died 5 days after his birthday, so did L.A. Capone. And I never knew about Gematria when I found that out, but it was still kind of weird to me because I was thinking, like, what's the chances? And I don't know. A lot of these Chicago rappers always pass, and I just wrote it off as Chicago violence. But I mean, I don't know. Like FBG Duck, I did see your work on that.
FBG Duck shot at 4:40 in the afternoon on Obama number 44's birthday. When King Von died, we pointed out why King Von was going to die in March, synced up with that NBA championship that we guaranteed the Lakers were going to win. And then he ends up dying November 6th by the numbers. I've never done the work on L.A. Capone. I'll look into that one for you. So,
okay.
All right. I got to let a few more people get on, man. But thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me. And I appreciate your work, man.
All right. Well, you have a good evening. I'll look into L.A. Capone for you. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care. All right. We're going in order. Next up is Schizo. Okay. What's up, Schizo?
Yo, what's up, Zach? I joined your stream the other night and kind of talked about Takeoff's death a little bit, and how that yellow hoodie and the 67 blood sacrifice.
Okay.
But I found something else out. So if you go to Quavo's Instagram and you go to his post on October 31st, it's the third recent one, and you scroll, number one, the first post is Takeoff covering one eye, and we all know what that is. The second point that I was going to make is if you scroll all the way to the last photo and you look on the wall behind Quavo, it's the word Rhine, Rine. And it's like, I don't know what the word is, but his head is blocking out the rest of the word. So the only word that you can read is Rhine. And if you type that in on Gematria calculator, it equals 28, which is the age that Takeoff died. And it also equals 28 equals kill, right? Or killing.
Yeah.
And
it's also 46 like sacrifice.
yeah.
Like Houston, Texas.
Yeah, I find that extremely weird too. Like all the way, the last post on that one, if you scroll all the way to the end, it's the word Rhine. And I thought that's so weird that just that random word equals 28. And I mean, that's just kind of, it's just, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird.
I look up what the word means. It means a ditch, and that's
Yeah,
where you put
it
bodies.
doesn't mean that. It just means a ditch.
Yeah, where you put bodies too.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is the guy who actually killed Takeoff, the yellow hoodie, he actually is dead now. He's not even alive. And the Prince family, if you type them on Gematria, it equals 67. That's because they're the ones who did it. They set it all up along with quality control, which quality control equals 666. It's us all, they're all laying in bed together. They're all doing this shit together. It's all demonic and ritualistic. It's disgusting. And they're the real ones who were racist and the ones who were they're really all just evil. It's just evil, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's taking advantage of human nature. People want power, people want fame, people want money and wealth, and people are giving up, other things of value to attain those things, like their family members.
Yeah.
And it's sad that, I mean, until you're in somebody's shoes, I guess you can't say you wouldn't do it, but I don't feel like there's anything anybody could ever give me. Like, even if I didn't know somebody, if somebody's like, I'll give you $1 million if you have that dude sacrifice over there, I'm like, no, I'm not living with myself like that, man. I want to be able to sleep at night. So
Yeah, man, I'd have too much regret. There's no way. And I think the only other question I had is, in college sports, do you think these college athletes, do you think they are in on it, or do you think college athletes don't know? It's more maybe.
I think it's just like the ones who are going to the bigger stage. Some are in on it. Like, I still remember. I went to high school with two people who made it to the world of professional athletics: Michael Roos, who played left tackle for the Titans, and Derek Ravio, who was star point guard at Gonzaga. And he played professionally in Europe. He probably could have played in the NBA, but he went to play in Europe instead. And I still remember the game where Gonzaga was playing North Carolina in Madison Square Garden. Derek Ravio, he lit up North Carolina in the first half. And I mean, that guy, his dad, he grew up with good genetics. His dad was on the Lakers. His dad had a weird career-ending injury. So supposedly a chainsaw hit his leg. And I always wondered, like, how does a chainsaw hit your leg when you're a basketball player? That's probably some weird sacrifice stuff. But anyway, I remember watching that game because it was the biggest televised game of his career, and he lit up North Carolina in the first half. And that kid was a shooting machine. Like, he did not miss. He was the white version of Steph Curry. But I remember the second half, Gonzaga ended up winning the game, but North Carolina made a huge rally, and he just wasn't playing like himself. And I was like, he got it. And the announcers were talking about, they're like, wow, Ravio's lost his game. And I was like, this kid does not play like this, man. Just playing stupid and just
Yeah.
It's just like this is just to make the game more exciting, man. I mean, you can't tell me that somebody didn't get in his ear and tell him to just play like shit in the second half. So
Exactly. Yep. I mean, halftime happens for a reason.
Exactly. It's like he got the script at halftime, and then he just came out and just played stupid. So
who are you taking in the men's college basketball championship? Who are you looking?
I gotta do my research, but it'll be the 84th tournament, and those numbers are always key. So
yeah,
I do know that it's North Carolina's 113th season. Michael Jordan equals 113. North Carolina picked up their 2,323rd win to start the season, 23-23.
Yeah.
So you got to think about North Carolina. Jordan went to the NBA in '84. So I still got to do my work on. I haven't looked at college basketball at all, other than that. So
yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I gotta let some more people on though. I appreciate it, Schizo. Thanks, man.
Have a good night, Zach.
Guys, yeah, take care. All right, let's go out to Black Star 1. Black Star 1, you're on. Here, I'm going to unmute your mic for you. Oh, well. Oh, there you go. Black Star 1, you're on. All right, Black Star 1. Maybe Black Star 1, I got to keep it moving if you're not going to say anything. All right, Black Star 1, you got the link. You can come back in case you're having a technical glitch. We got to keep it moving, though. Let's get Alibaba in. What's up, Alibaba?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Okay, first off, I want to say all praise due to Allah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We appreciate you exposing the synagogue of Satan, you and Call Me Kinfolk. I want to touch on a couple things that other people said. Like you had mentioned personally that Black people are targeted. They actually exposed that in Lovecraft Country. My friend told me about it because I was talking to him about that. They've explained in the show that Black people have more magical ability or arcana, which they consume from us. So that's the reason why they choose, in the movie Paranormal Activity, they wanted the firstborn son. So a lot of these people probably are like firstborn sons and that are chosen for these sacrifices. And also, if you notice, like Mo 3 and people like FBG Duck, they always kill off the righteous people who don't give up their soul entirely. Like Mo 3 was singing basically trap gospel music, and he was still worshiping God within his work, and they hate those things. And then with Kanye speaking on the sacrifice, Kanye's trying to save his own life because Drake and Kim Kardashian and them are setting up Kanye's sacrifice, with Drake wearing the number 46 on the deep faked whoever that guy was, the same person, the guy he did the show with is the same person Kanye went on the podcast with the Jewish person and denounced him. And then Drake goes and does a fake interview wearing the number 46, which equals sacrifice. And then Drake has 21 Savage, which is one half of 42. And they go on SNL. He also wears the 46 again. And he wears Favanculo, which is an old Italian extremely derogatory slur about people's dead loved ones and fornicating with them. A day or two after Takeoff passed away, and he was basically making slights at Quavo on the album, mentioning him by name, also mentioning Kim Kardashian. And the album is called Her Loss, which is, that's the way Drake has always announced his albums, with like a message towards the audience with, if you're reading this, it's too late, which was terrifying when it came out. And then he's praying to the number 6 on the album cover. But he's literally telling us it's going to be too late for all of us, because Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told by Allah that 2/3 of the human population before the coming of Jesus Christ again will pass away from this earth. We will be slaughtered. It will be the Masons call it the Great Deluge, which is the flood, but it will be a deluge of human blood. And then also Kanye turns 46 next year, and Kim Kardashian is 42. So she may still be 42 when he turns 46 if her birthday is after his, because his is in June. So that sets him up for the ritual sacrifice. And then people were saying that Drake was alluding on the front cover to Kanye's own oldest daughter, North, which is very sick and up Drake's alley for him to allude that he's talking about his daughter's loss, her loss, being, how they turn her out. Kanye's entire fight has been to save his children from being turned out by this industry that he is succumb to. And another major thing I would love to point out, and I praise Allah for you allowing me on this platform, is that I'm kind of, at first I was thinking that Kanye was the beast of the sea, and I'd like to get to that real quick, but it's starting to seem that him and Kyrie could possibly be the two witnesses from the book of Revelations, because the Jews, shortly after Kanye and Kyrie denounced the synagogue of Satan, they have started to move forward with Rab Shlomo Yahuda as the Mashiach Dajjal, the false Messiah of the Jewish empire, whatever you want to call it. But I was looking at Kanye for the longest to be the beast of the sea, and it being a play on words that sea, he's from Chicago, and also he's from Atlanta, and those are some of the two most demonic cities, which Noriega, what blew my mind, he pointed out that these successful people come from these hell-like places. And even after they become successful, it's like the prince of the city, like the Bible talks about, gains more strength and starts to consume more violence from the people, the Hebrews, Israelites, especially in Chicago. And then, but what I noticed in the book, the Beast of the Sea in the Book of Revelations, it says he will have the feet of a bear. Kanye on College Dropout is literally wearing bare feet. It says he will have the mouth of a lion. On Watch the Throne, Kanye and Jay-Z put lions in their mouths, and they have the mouths of beasts, the mouths of lions and leopards. It says he will be like that unto a leopard. Kanye has dyed his hair leopard print, went on 106 in Park with 2 Chainz. They both were wearing the leopard print on their clothing. It also says that he will gain his energy, he will gain his powers from a dragon. Kanye publicly announced that him and Donald Trump have this dragon energy. And then it says that one of his heads will be stricken like to death. And Kanye's Twitter handle was the head stricken to death. So it's like he's been playing on the, and he called himself Jesus. It's like he's been literally, they've been using him to manifest this, and like he's been walking in that in the Beast of the Sea. And then he also said that scared me, because I love Kanye. I joke up with my child's mother that he's like a dad to me. I call him dad just to be funny, because they, you know how they always are funny in the industry. That's like my way of mocking them. But he said that eventually the Jews would be his friend. And that's the thing that startled me the most, that if he's seeking validation from these people, then he would be a candidate to be the false prophet, which is the Beast of the Sea, to make the world worship Rav Shlomo Yehuda. Because there's people that are mentioning this could be a possible psyop, just like the what was, to bring more attention and sympathy towards them, this is kind of in a way it could possibly be strengthening the Jewish people. Like, it's putting them, like, we all care about, we're thinking about them, we're talking about them. When before we were talking about Trump and American politics, and they're pushing this black and white thing on the folk, as we're called by Manly P. Hall. The Masons consider us common people the folk. So like it's fascinating what's going on. It's really fascinating. And but it's a possibility that Drake could be the false prophet, with him literally being a Yehudi. And then also he could be the one to be trying to push this Rav Shlomo on the world. So those are the main big things I think I wanted to share about especially about Kanye. It's crazy.
Yeah, really great observations, really great information. Again, for people who are new to all this, it really is biblical. All this stuff they're doing is biblical. And absolutely, when you got the knowledge, you see it more and more. And this man right here has knowledge. So
one more thing, Zach, I appreciate one more thing I did, because people have been asking you to look into certain things. Carlin Isles is he was at one point the fastest rugby player in the world. He's from Jackson, Ohio, which is like 10 minutes away from where I'm at right now. His brother Chase Isles was murdered in Jackson, Ohio, which is one of the safest places on the planet Earth. Meaning, like, it's very suburban in Jackson. And he was murdered in cold blood. People heard him begging for his life, and because he has children, there has not been a single witness. And what was crazy is it was like put on my heart to talk about it on Snapchat. My sister, she lived with Chase and Carlin. She was their foster sister. So, and I know these people, and their brother, Trippie Redd, has publicly acknowledged, saved their little brother of Chase Isles. And his mom got a McLaren after Chase passed away. Carlin bought his mother like a $200,000 car. But what was really startling about this situation was, after I had this on my heart to go on my platforms, like my social media, and talk about it, I Googled the situation just to see if anything developed. Carlin was at the Tokyo Olympics and announced to the world, to ask the Japanese people that were gonna, I don't know how they're gonna help him, but he did a sympathy ritual at the Olympics about his brother's death. And it was crazy because it happened 4 days before I went on my social media. So Allah only knows, but maybe he allows these people to send messages when they do things like that to combat with the ritual. But I promise you, Allah, he went to he asked the people at the Tokyo Olympics all over the world to help bring justice for his brother's murder, which I believe the police, the FOP, are the people who kill these people. Because we had one more thing, Trippie Redd has had multiple sacrifices within our city, because I'm from Canton, where Trippie and Marilyn Manson, who both were spotlighted with Drake and Kanye's beef. By the way, Drake did the Betrayal song with Trippie, and Kanye had Marilyn Manson at the Donda event. And Trippie Redd's cousin Ev was posted on major news outlets when he was boxing with, he was the shorter man, I don't want to say the word, but he was boxing with Lil Uzi Vert, He died, and his girlfriend died in a car crash out of nowhere. Now, we know that I had a car that has a computer kill switch in my vehicle, so it would be nothing for them to put a computer in these people's vehicles when it's all of these car accidents. And then also Raquan Jennings, who was also a signed affiliate of Trippie Redd, had also passed away by assassination recently. Both of these deaths happened within like 9 months of each other, and he passed away similar to Chase Isles, where he was murdered in cold blood on the 1700 block of Canton, Ohio, in an apartment building in the parking lot. And it said that the police took 3 hours to respond to a gunshot call, and he bled to death from one bullet. So, and his name was Boo Cash, and he was on Say Cheese. He was on the underground coming up, signed to Trippie Redd. There was rumors that he was beaten to where they broke his ribs and jumped him because he was going to expose that Trippie was stealing people's music and other people were writing his songs, and they beat him up badly. Like, these are things we know because his father lives. Raquan's father is a citizen of our city, and it's a very small town where we come from. But no one has ever spoke on these deaths that are surrounding Trippie Redd, who was extremely satanic. And it would really be, I don't know, like, if it would benefit his family if it was shared, but it would honestly, I mean, it's just high time somebody spoke on all of this. You know what I'm saying? But one more thing, it's interesting. We're really all stuck in between a rock and a hard place with what we can do about the situation, because at the end of the day, our amendments tell us that we have a constitutional freedom to form a militia. And at some point in time, it's literally going to have to come down to possibly Armageddon with these people. So everyone, I want, inshallah, keep that in mind. But it could get physical. It's going to have to probably get physical with them.
It is going to have to get physical. I've been explaining that the whole time I've been here. These people are killers. They're not going to stand down. They operate by lying, tyranny, murder. You think they're just going to give up the throne? No, they have to be removed from the throne. And there's all sorts of justification to remove them.
Absolutely.
So, hey, I got to let more people on Alibaba, but I hope you have I hope you have your own YouTube channel. You should be putting out content, man.
Inshallah, I make music. Josiah Ali on YouTube. All praise due to Allah. But inshallah, I will. Inshallah soon, sir. Thank you, sir.
Come back anytime, friend. You have a good night.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care. All right. You've been really patient, and you're on. What's up, Kilo? Oh, you're muted. You got to unmute your mic.
What's going on, bro?
There you go, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. All this stuff here is some real good information, man. Kudos to you, bro. You really put out a lot of good stuff. Man, like, numbers tell so much of the story that is unseen. I wonder how much of these numbers can tell about history and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not really too much of a religious person, but I got brothers that are. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Hebrew Israelites. Shout out to the Muslims. Shout out to everybody. But to me, that just tell me how long all of this has been in operation, like how long all of this has been going on, how long all of this has been playing from our historic events and all of that. So I don't know. All of that there is crazy, man. All of that there is crazy, man.
Sure. And just to answer your question, I mean, if you go through history with this knowledge, you start to see why things happen on the dates they did. This knowledge reveals a lot. Again, this code with English has been in motion since the 16th century. You can pretty much go through all the history back through the 16th century and see what they've been doing. And again, the Jesuits came into existence in the 16th century, which caused a lot of people to flee Europe who didn't want to be around that Catholic tyranny anymore. And that's part of where the roots of this country is. And then that's part of where history starts getting all mixed up. Shout out to the Dane Callaways of the world who are pointing out that, we've been lied to. Black history as we know it is false, that there were definitely black people already living here. Everyone didn't come over in slave ships. And again, I'll say it again. I keep making the same point. The NFL, these sports leagues, they're trying to tell you. Again, there's a reason that they've only let 3 black quarterbacks win the Super Bowl. And I say let because that's the way it is. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure a black quarterback would be winning the Super Bowl every year if it was real. And
right.
Again, they've let 3 win, and they all won on Native American teams. And then, not to mention, they coded 42 on all those Super Bowls. But why do you think the only 3 black quarterbacks to win all played on the Native teams? The Redskins, the Seahawks, and the Chiefs. And for people who don't understand the Seahawks, again, Seattle's named after Chief Seattle, and that symbol on their helmets from the local Native American tribe. But
look, man, people got to go into their history and find out who they really is, like especially marching and asking for reparations and all of that type stuff. Like, y'all got to take that stuff to court, man. Y'all got to go find out who your great grand people was. If they actually had some land that was taken from them, anything that was done on, mischievous terms, you could bring that up in court and get your stuff back. Like, a lot of us was really here, man. A lot of us aren't immigrants.
Right. They've mixed all the history up. I mean, and most people don't know who their ancestors are. I mean, most people don't know anybody about their family past probably their great grandparents right now. So, yeah,
that's wild, man. I wonder what these numbers can uncover. Maybe it might be the next generation, the smarter generation that'll figure it out, man. But somebody get in and see what these numbers do. And I'm definitely gonna have to bet with you, man. I didn't know how good these numbers be hitting on the NFL and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, look what they just did the other night. They got the Carolina Panthers hosting the night before the new Black Panther movie, and they literally pick up their 115th home franchise win 115 weeks after the death of Chadwick Boseman. And in Gematria, Panthers equals 115. It's just, it's blatant.
When you write, when the numbers hit, they hit. Like, you can't deny what you see unfold right in front of your face. And I'm sure you call it ahead of time. So,
indeed. I mean, I put out that video for everybody before the game started. So,
well, I'm tuned in from now on, man. I just subscribed probably like a few days ago.
All right. Well, welcome to the channel, and be sure to subscribe to all. For everyone who doesn't know, my channel gets deleted and suspended all the time. I got Gematria Effect News 22, 23, 24, 25, and Gematria Effect Sports right now because I have to shuffle all those channels because I'm suspended almost every week. This video will probably end up getting taken down for hate speech because of things I said earlier, and it's not hate speech. It's just facts. That's what annoys me. You can't say the facts because these people that control the whole damn thing, they're control freaks, and they don't want anybody spilling out their secrets. They'll start calling their information. They'll call it hate speech.
So with Kanye breaking all the secrets, and that was eye opening with the Alibaba guy. With what you said before, calling the date, like it's all kind of making sense, man. It's all kind of making sense. Kanye ran to be the 46th president. It's all kind of, was it 46 or is it 46 coming next?
No. Joe Biden's number 46. For people who weren't here, I told everybody a year and a half in advance why Biden would be number 46. He was elected exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Let's not forget he sacrificed his son at age 46. And Gematria Catholic equals 46. He's the second Catholic president. The first one got assassinated at age 46. That's JFK. If you run it the other way, Catholic equals 35. JFK was number 35. Biden got elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday and inaugurate on the Pope's 35th day of his age. That's why you got to know the gematria, forwards and backwards. But yeah, the whole game is rigged, from the sports to the politics to who gets the record deal. You got to be in the club.
And then they kill the rappers because rapper equal, what's the number, 38?
Rappers 38, like murder, like death, like killing, like RIP. Yeah, a lot of rappers in the 38 club.
So you get into that door, like Nori said, as a rapper, shit, it's gonna be death all around you. You basically signing up for it just off the numbers. That's crazy.
Exactly. So,
all right, man. I ain't gonna hold you too long, man. I just wanted to say what's up to you, man.
Well, welcome to the community, Kilo. I appreciate you're brand new here, and you already came on to say something. Thank you.
Already.
You have a good night.
Yep, you too.
All right, take care. All right. Next up is Porky. What's up, Porky?
What's up, bro? How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for coming on.
Yo, bro, I didn't even think I would ever talk to you, bro. I've been watching the videos for the last 3 years, bro, but I appreciate everything you do, bro. You changed my life.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for following the work for that long.
Yeah, no problem. Right now I'm watching college football, and I've just been seeing all the rig stuff been going on with Vegas and stuff, and I believe everything you say, bro. Is just so deep, bro, for people to understand. You know what I mean?
I guess it is kind of deep, but at the same time, man, they're doing everything on the surface level if you just pay attention. So
yeah, bro, literally, when you were talking about the calculator, I started doing that, and I started just seeing for everything what it is, and they can't hide from anything. The numbers are all there, the symbols. But yeah, bro, that's all I came on here to say, bro. I'm gonna go back on your YouTube and just watch the stream.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Keep doing
you. Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, and again, when I'm talking about the surface level thing, it's just like they ran it as a headline story when Coolio died. They had to point out that he died on the anniversary of Stevie Wonder putting out Pastime Paradise, the sample for Gangsta's Paradise. I mean, so back before I knew Gematria, that's the kind of stuff I just used to always know. So I was like, man, what's up with all these coincidences? There's just way too many coincidences in the stuff that happens in the news, you know? And then you learn this numbers piece and you're like, man, look at how ritualistic it is. And again, you know, they want to demonize you. They want to demonize people when people say the truth, that's when they get demonized in this world. You say something that's accurate and factual, but if it's something that people don't want you to talk about, then you're going to be demonized for that. You're going to be labeled a conspiracy theorist, an anti-Semite, all this crap that they do. And it's just like, you know, I know some of you guys like Kanye and Kyrie, and I think it is mostly good what they're doing right now because it probably is making people think about things that they haven't thought about before. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you, they're having these guys do this so that they can say, see, look at all the consequences. Look at the money lost. Is Kyrie Irving ever going to be in a Hollywood movie again? Is he going to be on the Brooklyn Nets for that much longer? Et cetera, et cetera. Look at Kanye's net wealth went from $1 billion to $400 million. You know what I mean? That they're showing you there's consequences for speaking about these things. And yeah, so you guys, if you are new here, if you're new here, do me a favor. Go to my website, GematriaEffectNews. You don't have to buy my books. I made them free to download. When you go to the website, you'll see it just like this top pin post. Just scroll down a little bit. It says download ebooks for free. There's 2 books here. If you click on this link, it'll take you to this page. You'll see this green book, Letters and Numbers. This book is nearly 800 pages long. There is a chapter in this book that's over 150 pages long called Murder by Numbers. This book came out in 2017, so I mean, it hasn't covered the deaths since then because it's been out. But pretty much every celebrity death you can think of up to 2017, it's in this book, including all the ones that Kanye West brought up in his remarks that got published yesterday. And then my more recent book, Letters and Numbers, my more recent book, Number Games, 9/11 and Coronavirus. That book has a lot more than just 9/11 and coronavirus. It talks about what they did with George Floyd. It talks about what happened to Kobe Bryant, why Kobe died right at the whole start of coronavirus and buried in Corona Del Mar. You guys don't realize, but from his birthday to the day they declared the pandemic was 201 days, just like Event 201 was the coronavirus pandemic simulation. And that is one of the most important numbers to the Jesuit order. The first Jesuit pope is Pope Francis, who's the first to live in Suite 201 in the Vatican. And it's not an accident that his birth name is 201. Just like it's not an accident that, again, Kobe died at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the 41st day of Pope Francis's age, when Kobe Bryant equals 41 and LA equals 41. And this book, Letters and Numbers, I have a chapter in there on rigged sports by the numbers, and I focus a lot on Kobe Bryant and show how his whole career is scripted by 41. And that book came out 3 years before he died at age 41. You know? And don't forget, the day before Kobe died, I put out a video showing how Moses Malone and Daryl Dawkins, who both played basketball in Philadelphia, were both sacrificed for Kobe's final season. And I talked about, you know, again, the day before Kobe died, I reminded people the NBA is sick. It sacrifices a lot of its players. You know, LeBron passes Kobe in points scored in Kobe's hometown, Philly. And then what do you know? The next day, Kobe's dead. And the next thing you know, just like we said, the Lakers would win. Again, the day LeBron went to the Lakers, July 1st, coming from Ohio, the 17th state, on the date that can be written 1/7, I said that day, I said, watch, LeBron will win the Lakers their 17th championship in his 17th season. NBA equals 17, exactly what he did. Kobe dies that season. And then LeBron wins the championship on Father-Daughter Day, exactly 41 weeks after his own birthday. And don't forget, the year that LeBron came back and won on the real King James' birthday, there was a game where I said, watch, LeBron's going to score 41 points tonight because King equals 41. The date numerology was 41. LeBron did score 41 points in that game. And guess who else scored 41 in that game? Kyrie Irving. And don't forget when Kyrie, LeBron, and Kevin Love combined for a record 101 points scored by 3 players. That was the night before David Rockefeller died at age 101. And of course, the Rockefeller dynasty started in Cleveland. So Kyrie, you know, if Kyrie was legit, Kyrie would be out right now talking about how the whole NBA is rigged and fixed, how he's in on it, how certain nights his box score is perfectly scripted. That's the kind of information Kyrie would be dropping if he was legit. If Kanye was legit, he'd be talking about Gematria, because you know he knows about it. I'll tell you what, if CeeLo Green's seen this video and Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian, these guys have shared my work out there. You know Kanye West has seen it too. You know Kyrie Irving's seen it, especially since I've been talking about him for years. They'd be talking about this information if they were really trying to expose things. They're just doing what they're told so that, again, this whole show can go on and they can be shamed and punished, and to remind the masses and all the people who worship them, dare speak against the you-know-who, and you'll lose your success and wealth as well. Let's go out to MGZ. What's up, MGZ?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, so it was a conspiracy last night, or a couple nights ago when we tried to talk, and it seemed like everything was going wrong at the end of our discussion.
But that's why I'm just doing one person at a time, so that doesn't happen again.
Perfect. So where we left off at, the Pope, you was hitting a note. You were saying that the Pope will probably be the biggest person who had the most influence and power over the entire situation that's happening in America and around the world. I always thought that was deep, and that's when stuff started going haywire. But we got to elaborate on that, man. You was giving out good information on that. And also, remember when I said 27 was the number for the preseason week 1? I was wrong. It was 27, 23. I should have said it was 23. If you went back and look at the preseason week 1 scores, final scores of the preseason week 1, I mean, 23 popped up about good 8 times out of all of the box scores, the final scores. And I was like, what does that got to do? Why is that number so common right now? And that's when I just knew it. I was like, I knew it was fixed when you explained about the Brady Thomas being the son of the first female referee and the Chiefs and Buccaneers Super Bowl. And I knew right then I said I'm gonna put my money on the upset. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put my money on the Buccaneers winning that whole thing. And you didn't let me down, man. I made some money. But I'm just saying, man, it's just like we got to talk about that Pope, and I really want to know what is that signal to the 23? I know 23 is a powerful number, and your line of understanding in this gematria and the numbers and all that numerology. And also, what else I hit? Okay, I said that. Yeah, that's about it though. That's why I really wanted to just go over that. But I'm late for something, but I'm gonna listen. That's all I want to tell you, man. I gotta go.
I still haven't gone back and looked at that opening night. I mean, 23 can have multiple meanings. We know it's huge in the history of the NBA, right? From Jordan, whose initials are MJ, the 13th letter, the 10th letter, MJ 23, number 23. The word king is 23. LeBron's not playing like a king so far, but I'll go back and look at it. I don't have the answer for you still, man.
No problem.
I will check it out. So
cool deal, man. And yeah, man, this Pope situation, it was just so creepy how that happened. But I would love for you to elaborate, how does that come about? They choose a guy, or just like they say, our leaders are selected, not elected. So they're choosing this dude to run this Catholic organization. I like to call it religion or organization, whatever. And this guy has the power to literally call the shots, if you will, over every situation leading to Vegas. Now how all roads lead to Rome, but it seems like Vegas is always the main one benefiting from a lot of the money in the economy, and everything that's generating through that. And the final thought I want to leave you with, man, if this has been going on for as long as it's been going on, man, even if 20% of the people woke up, is this ever really truly going to change? Because the fact is, we know that, I'm jumping around, but we know that Jesus was black, right? But at the end of the day, they're still promoting Jesus as a white man. You know what I mean? They're doing movies. Mel Gibson, he just did a movie with Mark Wahlberg. He had a white Jesus at the table, not drinking nothing. I don't know if you saw that movie, but I'm like, come on, man, this is inaccurate depiction, and they keep doing it. So it's what's going to change when we know the truth and they're not even trying to promote it the correct way.
Again, I'll just remind people, I mean, the only physical description really of Jesus in the Bible is Revelation 1:14, and he has hair like wool and darker skin. So people always get mad and say, Jesus isn't black. It's like, well, one physical description is hair like wool and darker skin. So it doesn't sound very white to me.
Well, fire eyes. And I mean, come on, man. We seen the description. Like, and they don't want to change nothing because it benefits a certain party of people. Do you know who's? And I guess, I don't know, man, but
I'll remind people what happened this year on Israel's 74th birthday. Remember, Jewish, killing, a cult, they're all 74. On Israel's 74th birthday, you had a white supremacist go into a grocery store in a black neighborhood in Buffalo and supposedly kill a bunch of people. And not to mention it was on Jefferson Street, and 3 of the first 5 presidents died on 7/4. You think they would have, imagine you had your history teacher been like, don't you think that's funny, student, that 3 of the first 5 presidents died on 7/4?
It's funny you said that, man. I just bought this book, man, about the lies.
My teacher told me that's a good book. I got that on my shelf in there.
Yeah, I'm an avid reader, man, but this is one I'm trying to tackle now. But it's crazy, man. Like, it's just so many lies being perpetuated till this day. and they just won't. It seems like, I don't know what. I mean, even Pac said that I see no changes. Like, I mean, what's really going to happen? Like, what's going to change in matter of knowing the truth, man? Like, people are dying trying to reveal the truth for what? It's like the next day they act like they're asleep again. Because you can't wake somebody up who's fake sleeping. They all know the truth.
That's why they call it the American dream, man. You got to be asleep.
Ooh, that's a good one. Got to be asleep, man. Well, all right, man. I just want to give you that information. I would love for you to talk about that Pope a little bit later for sure when you can. And you have a good one, man. But stay safe, man. Stay blessed, man. Keep doing your thing, brother.
All right, you have a good night. Thanks. All right, we got hold on, went to the wrong person. There we go. Ocho from the Ocho. What's up, Chad?
I'm in here. Hey, what's up, bro? How are you? Yo, I just wanted to talk about that one caller. He called in talking about Kanye trying to save his soul. I doubt that, man. Like, I don't see why the community can't see through these psyops no more. I mean, I understand he's speaking out a little more.
It's possible that he could be trying to do that within whatever, because these people are puppets on strings. I mean, if he feels that he needs to save his soul, he has so much room to work.
That's what I mean. And like, the only way I would have believed that he was really like speaking out is if he was on here right now. Like, if he came to this stream right after he made his comments,
right,
he came to your stream.
Why is he going on Piers Morgan? We know who Piers Morgan is.
That's what I mean. That's exactly. And then he don't even say everything. Why is he not saying gematria? We know he knows gematria. Now you're gonna, like, he's giving you little by little. He's spoon feeding, and it's like somebody got their hand in his back, telling him what to say and what not to say. It's like, it's just like everything else. They always they're gonna fund both sides of the war, Zach. They're going to fund both sides of the war. You see what I'm saying?
Do it. They keep everybody in the divide, but then ultimately they control the outcome. That's why.
What I noticed with all this stuff is like, it's like they somehow still put your mind into the box that they want your mind to be in, so you do not come together and take them out. That's what I see every time. Like, anybody calls in with any of their information, or like I even just watched like a video from 1993 of Montel Jordan. He had 2 black people on there that was calling themselves Hebrew Israelites, and 2 white dudes on there. One was like a Hitler Nazi, and the other dude was just against Jews. And like, he was showing like real stuff, like how, like, he was saying like the Holocaust never happened. They already exposed it, and like the Jews this, and they were like name dropping the Illuminati. It was crazy. And this was in 1993, you know what I'm saying? And like, all of those people had like correct things to say, and I thought like all of them were actors, but they all had correct things to say. But I noticed that like they were all falling into like a box. They were still falling into the box, like the narrative, like these little groups, these things. The thing that we're fighting is not small like that, you know what I mean? I feel like they created all of these things to put yourself in, like to be a Christian, to be a Muslim, to be a Buddhist. I feel like they created all this stuff, like man-made. So I don't know why anybody uses anything that was man-made once they came across this. because this shows how man-made stuff is being manipulated. And it's like this is like the final tear of truth. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just see right through it. I don't feel like Kanye West and like we got Kanye and Kyrie Irving, two people with the K the 11th letter. So we got 11, 11, 22 and 2022. I just think it's funny that the two master number dudes is the ones who they got doing this. I feel like it's something more to it. You know, I'm not all the way like super knowledgeable with, you know, esoteric knowledge, so I can't even like break it all the way down. But I know it's more to it why they have Kyrie and uh, Kanye West doing what they're doing. You know, like you said before, Kanye West has been used as a psyop king since he came out.
Right. Always in the middle of a controversy. So.
Right. The only thing I feel like he hasn't done to us yet is like release music. That's one thing I like that he hasn't done. He hasn't dropped no music. He hasn't been doing that Sunday service crap. But every other time where he was like acting out, he was doing Sunday services and, you know, all types of weird things, dressing up like ritualistically, staying in a big arena and stuff like that. All of that. Like I can't fall into this stuff and say, oh, he's trying to save himself. I mean, what is he doing right now? Nothing. He's not calling us. He's not exposing more stuff. Anything he's doing is coming out the way they want it to. Remember, Piers Morgan or Rand Paul, whatever that guy was he was talking to, said to him when he said, I'm not saying whatever the media wants me to say. And he said, actually, Kanye, you are saying what the media wants you to say. This is why you're on here right now. You see what I mean? Like, it's all, we know that it's double speak. We know that these people are intelligent. We know that they are playing with our emotions. I don't see why anybody in this community can fall into anything given to us from them. It's just like, no. You know what I mean?
Well,
no.
you know, I think part of the thing is a lot of people know the sentiment that's being put out there by Kanye and Kyrie is true, and nobody's real. Nobody. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but this rarely gets touched on. You just had to go back to '93 to get an example of the last time this happened. So, you know, I think that's part of it. But yeah, again, that they call news media programming for a reason, and we're seeing ultimately what the programming is. You do what Kanye and Kyrie do, you're going to get shamed, labeled crazy, anti-Semite. You're going to lose your endorsements. You're going to lose your money. So who wants to try next? And again, we're in a world where most people totally value money and that's how they view success. They're like, okay, I don't want to do that, man. It's not worth it.
That's what I mean, though. Like, all right, so Zach, did you notice that, like, in that shooting with Takeoff, did you notice, like, the stuff that Quavo and all of them were saying, like, the stuff they were saying has code? Did you notice that?
I missed that.
In Chigozi's video, he showed that Quavo said, what does she need to do, which equals 83 like murder. And then he also kept saying hello over and over again, which equals 83 like murder. And I noticed that the girl who kept saying he's calling the ambulance, she just kept saying that equals 87, like quality control music.
Yeah, his whole thing was for people who missed the whole Takeoff thing, he died 87 months after their first album came out with quality control music, which equals 87, and they coded a whole bunch of 87s on that. It's even coded into Quavo's birth name. Hey, Chad, I don't mean to push out, but there's a bunch of people on here, and I got to go through because I only have
all right, I'll finish.
Hey, I said message me on the app, and I'll give you my phone number because I saw you ask for my phone number.
Yeah, because I got to talk to you about a lot of stuff. Yeah, all right, I got you for
sure. Message me on the new Mighty Networks Gematria Effect News Network app, and I'll send you my number. All right,
thank you, Zach. Have a good night.
Have a good night, man. All right, let's go out to Prince X. What's up, Prince X?
You hear me?
Loud and clear.
What's good, Zach?
Thanks for coming on.
But yeah, I wanted to say, it might sound crazy, but the people who are really doing this is really black people doing this to black people, to all people, but it's really black people behind doors using white faces to do their work. If that makes sense.
Well, tell me more. I'm listening.
It's they're called black Spanish conquistador. You ever heard of conquistadors?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. But it's really them. There's a book called Black Conquistador. Really them, really doing them behind the works. But another thing I wanted to say, I appreciate all the work that you've been doing. I've seen all the years you've been grinding and all that. I even seen you growing over the channel. So wanted to say that. And what else I wanted to say?
Well, hold on. Let's go back to that though. So why would black people do this to other black people?
Cause you understand, Zach. No, I don't think it's gonna sound crazy, but black people been on this planet for a long ass time, Zach. We've been here for millions of years. You know what I mean?
So you're saying there's
So
rivalries and factions.
yeah, it would make sense because there's only black people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. But I wanted to ask a question. Are you into esoteric stuff like aliens and all that, or what they say are aliens?
Well, I mean, I'm open-minded. I don't know if aliens are real or not. That's a whole other subject. But did you have a greater thought on that?
Yeah. It's not, all this stuff I'm saying might sound crazy, but it has to do like other beings from other planets, or actually have to do with some of the stuff that's going on here too. Because it's some of the stuff like poisoning the planet, all the stuff that will make doesn't make sense to somebody to do stuff that will live in the planet with us. Why would you be killing the planet and you live on the planet, right?
I get that. For people out there who are new to this, look up these two movies for me. You got to watch these two movies. Watch Knowing with Nicolas Cage, where he finds this
Yep.
number streak and he starts being able to predict the future, and he sees all number
Yeah.
based. And at the end, it's
Yep.
aliens. And then watch They Live. That
Yep.
movie, They Live, is a reference to this whole gematria thing. You get the right glasses, and then you see the world from the right perspective, and then it turns out aliens are running the show there too. Yeah, just with regards to powerful people who could be aliens. But a funny thing is, Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos both started their technology companies. Like when I think of technology, that's where I think the argument is for aliens. I'm like, I don't feel like humans could create this stuff we're using right now, like this computer we're all on. How's it even possible? But Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates both started their companies in New Mexico, which is known for the alien landing in 1947. Not to mention New Mexico is the 47th state. And then they both moved their businesses up to Seattle on the 47th parallel, which has the Space Needle, which has a rotating restaurant that does a full rotation every 47 minutes. Whole other subject of 47, but super special number to these people. But sometimes I wonder the same thing because I'm like, why would people do this to other humans? I guess I could understand greed, but like you said, why destroy the earth? I mean, is it just greed? Or is it? Roddy Piper came out and said on the Jesuit Order's recognition date that They Live was a documentary. And again, that movie's about how aliens who look like humans are running the whole show. And people will say, well, if aliens were here, how come we don't see them? How do you know the aliens didn't come and create us like the Anunnaki thing and we look just like them? But like maybe we're dumber. So anyway. Oh shoot, we lost him. But yeah, he brought some different thoughts to the channel. Let's go out to Knowledge for Ignorance. What's up, man?
Hey Zach, can you hear me?
I can. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing all right.
All right, yeah, I just want to squeeze a couple points in the 5 minutes. Just for like people that's new with the information, what got everybody shocked the last day or so with him saying about his mom being sacrificed. A little over a year ago, it was a low budget independent film made called Blood Sacrifice, starring Cuba Gooding's younger brother, Omar Gooding. And it's about the music industry and blood sacrifices. Also, if you didn't mind, again, for people that's not really familiar with it and can't really grasp the numbers and stuff, I did a decode on Carmelo Anthony earlier this week. I don't know if you did any. I don't remember you doing any Carmelo news this past week. But
I missed that.
Okay, my Instagram name is Keon Reed, but it still should pop up the Knowledge for Ignorance under it. And you should see the it's about 6 posts back, but he debuted this new wine. And I just want to show the numbers, why they use the numbers. Then I want to show the co-symbolism, how he's showing what he's a part of and all that. As soon as you pull it up, you'll be able to kind of see what I'm talking about. But okay, before you pull it up.
I'm trying to pull it up. Hold on. Knowledge for Ignorance Instagram's not pulling it up. What should I type?
Type in my name, Keon Reed, Keyon, first name, Reed. Once it pop up, the Knowledge for Ignorance should pop up under it or over it. You can click that one.
No, that's not you either. Some other Keon Reed's coming up. Keyon, right?
Yep, and then last name Reed. And the knowledge for the knowledge for ignorance
There
is
we go.
not.
I got it now.
You got it. And once you pull it up, you can see what I'm saying about how he's showing how he's a part of the occult. You know what I mean, with the Masons and all that, with his hand gestures. But I did a decode. It's probably on like the third line. You should see him standing in the archway, right there. And look at the name. Look how he named the wine and everything. The name of it is Oath of Fidelity, but he's just calling it the nickname Oath. And then you can see how the numbers, line up, and then how he's doing like the Mason hands gestures and whatnot. See how he's standing in the archway?
Oh yeah, under the
you
two pillars in the arch, super Masonic.
You see his hands. You see his hand gesture.
Yeah.
Now check this out. Now it's 2022. If you zoom in, they could have used any other year, but the year they're using on the wine is 2017. So the two numbers that stood out for me was 20 is death and 17 is a kill number, and the name of the wine is Oath. He's showing, you know what I mean? But you can scroll the neck, you can see my decode, and you can start seeing the pictures, how it correlated. Because look, he brought it out on November 7th. The number he wore the majority of his career was number 7.
Right.
His full name equals the oath and fidelity, the name of the wine and everything. So I was just trying to crop some stuff together so people that's just coming into the information that can't really correlate all the numbers we throw in them. If you can see the symbolism with how he's standing and everything,
Rambo would tell you he's in the hangman pose.
Oh, that upside down thing?
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, and if you keep scrolling, you'll see George Washington standing like that in the archway, on the older picture or whatnot. And that's what I'm saying too. You see he wore 15, but my thing is I'm starting to think that he started wearing 7 once they welcomed him into that life, the boule or whatever. Because he wore 15 his freshman year at Syracuse, and his first couple years, I think, at Denver. Then he started wearing number 7.
Yeah, very, very likely. Again, I mean, you're working. The entertainment world is controlled by who, and these numbers mean a lot to these people. To the rest of us, who we would be referred to as the goyim, we think numbers are something you learn about in math class, and so you can keep track of your bills and make sure you got paid enough at the end of the week, and you're not getting ripped off at the grocery store. But numbers got a whole nother meaning to another group of people, and that's what I've been trying to educate about for a long time. I started to realize there was something going on with numbers and rituals for certain the day 9/11 happened. I was like, okay, this is not a coincidence. A national emergency on 911? No way.
Yeah. And like I said, I know you gotta take other callers, but real quick, besides me, doing the decodes on my Instagram, I have been putting out, like informational music, and I put Gematria in 2 of the new songs I have. And one last thing, that I can say, 2 of your callers in the last week, man, have hit close to home. The guy that called in, that was the adopted basketball player from Philadelphia, and another guy called in the past week that was from the LA area. And it kind of hit home because, like I said, I played high school ball, college ball, and I got somewhat of a unique story. I probably can get on the Sunday story to talk about it more, but the 2 high schools I went to, I'm from Saginaw, Michigan, where Draymond Green and Jason Richardson, Lamar Willie, but I went to the same high school as them, and Darvin Ham went to my same high school. He graduated like 2 years before me. The thing with that, he never even got in the game in high school. He went to junior college and made his way with that. But like I said, when people be tied to certain stuff, his mother was the mayor here in Saginaw, Michigan for like 8 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's always like kind of weird things. And then I played my junior year of high school ball in Long Beach, California. I went to Long Beach Poly, the school that Deshaun Jackson, the football player, Snoop Dogg came from. All that. I'm talking about the Tony Gwynn, the ex baseball player. Like he don't.
R.I.P. Another guy who didn't live to be that old.
Who was that?
Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. He played for the same high school as I played for, and I know I got to get up. But what I can say is, when I was here, I was a starting point guard starting 10th grade year, and I ended up moving because we lost a lot of seniors. So I kind of got moved to shooting guard and small forward. But initially, I was supposed to move to California, live with my dad my freshman year, but during my high school years, man, my stepmother bumped heads a lot. So you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I was getting, like highly recruited here, but my coach was kind of blackballing me. He wasn't giving me my letters and stuff. So make a long story short, I moved there my junior year. I never forget the first day of practice, Zach. The first letter I got was from the school that Bo Kimball went to and Hank gathered. I can't think of the name. It was a mid-level. But anyway, so the rest of the team, they was kind of laughing and stuff, but I was kind of happy because I hadn't been receiving my letters here in Saginaw, right? I kid you not. That next week, I was getting the most letters on the team. You know what I'm saying? I was highly recruited by everybody. You know what I'm saying? I end up moving back here because me and my stepmom fell out again or whatnot. But just to say, like, the difference in you being in certain like walks of life, like Cameron Diaz, Snoop, Action Jackson, Carl Weathers. Like, it's been a lot of people that come from that high school. I mean, it was pretty much like a college. We had 4 different lunch periods. It was over 4,500 kids went to the school. You know what I mean? So when you're in different walks of life, you can be around certain things. You know what I mean? And I'll let some other callers get in.
All right, friend. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
You have a good night. Thank you. All right, take care. All right, let's get out to Fizzy Facts.
What's going on, Zach?
Thanks for coming on. What's up?
What's up? I was just gonna say something about a little bit of insight with when we go back to like the letters and numbers. I studied pattern recognition for about 15 years, so I already seen all this stuff coming around. It seems like every so often what we seem to think is the truth, they will start to plant seeds and start to put that out themselves because they're on a timeline. They're basically on a timeline to put out certain things, certain information that's been hidden from the public for a certain amount of time. So they have a lot of information with this system that we're living under that we have no clue about. So we still far away from the actual truth of what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. That kind of seems like how it is, that they reveal certain truths. Yeah, they probably have some kind of timeline ritual to it. Okay.
Yeah, basically, they actually have a belief system, and I don't know if you know about the Roman law. I got that from Jordan Maxwell. Roman law. There's a law that says those who will be deceived, let them be deceived.
Sure.
Right. So, and when I told you I studied the pattern recognition, I always study everything in twos. And I think what's really important is going back to the 2 species that live here on Earth. And that's the man and the woman. Because everything comes in twos, and that's where, so you got white, black, and you got different shades of different colors. But the only major difference is the species that's going on Earth right now. I think individually men need to search and find out who a man really is, then women need to find out who they really are, because it's 2 different species. And I come to the believe that we are being used against each other as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Men and women get used against each other for some odd reason, and I feel like I see conflict with that. That's why you see stuff like, and they have made it a business with men and women with the marriage and everything like that.
Absolutely. I think they just do all this to keep us all in a low vibration, constantly fighting over each other and just not reaching our pinnacle.
Yeah.
They're holding us down for the sake of controlling us.
It's a conquer and divide. That's why when you say, well, you talk about the number 42, the number 2, it's an energies in it. In the English language, we really don't understand what we're actually doing once we even start talking. Okay.
Right.
So the number 2 is something in there where there's an energy that splits. So that is the main reason why they use the number 2 on black people. So it's a divide thing.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's definitely
All
a
right,
divide.
friend. Well, those are great thoughts, and I really appreciate you coming on. There's a few more people waiting in line, and then I got to wrap this up pretty soon, so I'm gonna let them on. But thank you, appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt.
You have a good night. All right, next up, Sam Smith. Thank you for your patience.
Well, thanks, man. I've been following you for a while, and it's pretty cool to be on here. Dude, what do you think the function of putting these certain numbers in at certain times, like is that really just a gauge for something energetic that we're not privy to? Like what do you think's the deeper function of this?
Exactly. It's all energy. Again, just in the most pure cipher, according to Manly P. Hall, energy, gematria, English, all of those words have the same numerical value, which is 38. Again, you look at this nation's capital. It's on the 38th parallel north. A headline from not long ago, Anthony Fauci stepping down after 38 years. Think about what he just did to the energy of the nation with all the fear programming he put out there. And again, we know that number is connected to death. And what are people most afraid of in this world? I mean, people are controlled by the thought of death. So I think at the end of the day, again, if you read the Hermetic teachings, for all the people out there who are not familiar with Hermeticism, look up the 7 Hermetic principles. They're a short read, but they're the type of thing that doesn't take that long to read, but could take a lifetime to think about. And again, it talks about energy and how everything carries a vibration and the influence of vibrations and how everything is dualistic, like the last caller's talking about. Everything's twos, this side and that side. But yeah, I think everything ultimately comes back to energy.
Do you have any personal thoughts on what they're attempting to do, like when they're doing things like this, because we can see, we can decode things like, oh, like Jesus, Muhammad, Lucifer, they all add up to 74. We can see all these endless games, but what's the goal there, right?
And just for the record, so I just about 38 when you use numerology. If you don't use numerology, the word energy is 74. Again, just you see that number is like 74, 38. Those numbers seem to be on the most important things going on in the world.
Sure.
And I think there's something about putting the number in the ritual and making it happen and then putting it through a screen that millions of people see. And then I think somehow it manifests more in the world. We hear the powers that shouldn't be right now talking about how we need to reduce population. And, Bill Gates made a real famous quote about how we can reduce the population in his 2010 TED Talk. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I can't talk about it because it'll take the video down for sure. But go back and watch Bill Gates' 2010 TED Talk. It's about 30 minutes long. You really should watch the whole thing, but you only have to watch the first 5 minutes for how he says how we should reduce the population. Give you a clue. Doesn't
he spell out corpse like with his little acronym or something like that?
Say that again.
Doesn't he spell out like the word corpse? Like he had like this whole like 3-step process. We need to reduce like CO2 and I think I'm gonna
go back and watch to see if that's exactly what he did. He might have.
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, because I remember laughing at it. Yeah.
Okay, he might. I think I overlooked that the whole time. I'm gonna go back and watch to see if that is true. It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, the word pandemic itself is also 38. So that's my theory. I still don't understand it. Just like you, I mean, we're on the outside. Nobody taught us about this. We didn't come up in any schools where they were teaching about this. I learned about it through observation and reading, but there's still so much more to know. So I have theories, but I don't have all the answers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the deeper thing I'm always looking for, man.
Have you read the 7 Hermetic Principles?
I have not, no.
I would read that. It's very thought-provoking.
Well, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for the time, bud.
Right. Yeah, you're welcome. You have a good night.
Dude.
All right, that was Sam Smith. What's up, Decoding with Cody?
Hey, Zach. How's it going tonight?
It's going well. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Vacation in Florida, getting away from the winter. But I've still been doing a lot of decoding, and I wanted to talk about the interesting thing I'm finding right now with the number 152. And I don't know what all you've seen with this number, but right now it's mainly tied to Biden and Kamala Harris because Joe Biden equals 152, and Kamala Devi Harris equals 152. And actually, if you use capitals, Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife, equals 152 also.
This is why I predicted the day he took office that his last day in office would be the 152nd day of the year in 2024. So I'm very aware. Remember, President's Day just happened to fall on 15/2, the 46th day of the year, the first year he was in office.
Yeah, and so what I found interesting was that November 17th, right? So young Dolph was killed exactly a year before this coming November 17th. And this November 17th is the opposite day on the calendar from the Super Bowl last year, which was the 44 days left in the year. Joe Biden equals 44. He got his shot, his first COVID shot, on the Great Conjunction on 12/21/2020, and he got it. The camera on the video, he gets a shot at 3:21, turning 3:22, which those dates on the calendar is November 17th, November 18th. And so what I found interesting.
He's cutting out. He's down in Florida. Okay. Sorry, we lost it. Let's go out to Hussein Insane. What's up, Hussein Insane?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there, man. I was one of the callers that been like basically I've been subscribed to you since like your 5th channel, like since when you started this gematria stuff. But I had been called in like maybe about when FBG Duck had died. At that time, you wasn't really too fond with the drill music and what was going on with the Chicago scene, but I knew for a fact that that was going to be something that you needed to cover. So I called in and told you, can you do a story on that? And you did. And come to find out, when you did do your homework, FBG Duck, he died on August the 4th, which was Obama's birthday, that same day.
Right.
Yeah,
Again, he was
and
shot at 4:40 on number 44's birthday when shooting's 44. The last caller just brought up the death of the Memphis rapper on the day, leaving 44 days left in the year in a shooting. Go ahead.
Oh, that must have been Young Dolph.
Young Dolph, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's one thing that I can say is that for you to gain this knowledge that you have, it don't come to a lot of people. I'm talking about like you finding out what gematria really was at the age that you found it out. A lot of people could have been found it out, but I guess it ain't come to them because you have to really be aligned and in tune in order for you to gain certain information. Like you got to be fasting, you got to be eating certain foods, and you got to be like on high meditation or just on a frequency in order for the cosmos to send you certain information. And what you was doing at that time, you was able to gain that information amongst the rest of the other people that was amongst you. Whether if it was a family member, a friend, or a stranger, nobody that I know came across this thing that you call gematria. And based upon how you've been using it is so well rounded that not only that it's in politics, it's in basically like in high media, like in the industry, and it's also it even reached into the battle rap industry because I watch battle rap too, and it's in there too. It's crazy how they even sacrificing people in battle rap, and they using the gematria code to basically sacrifice certain people. And not only that though too, when they place these events, they go to have certain major events on certain particular holidays like Halloween, when they know that the veil is very thin between spirituality, and they pick certain other holidays too, just like Halloween. So I'm glad that you even expose what you doing right now, because it's even reading all across the board right now. It's crazy how gematria is like in almost every field.
Indeed, that's what amazed me when I found the knowledge is how many things it applied to. I didn't realize it was going to be the world of sports and so many other things, but it is. So,
and a lot of people don't think that sports can be rigged, but it can be rigged though. I think that a lot of people and if they don't think that it can't be rigged, They need to go watch the movie Blue Chips with Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hardaway, and a few other people. Yeah, there was players on the team that was shaving points, and shaving points is like you cheating and not giving your full potential just in order for the opponents to win the game. And they're gonna pay you more for just staying down, like in a boxing match when they say if he knock you out, just stay down. I'm gonna pay you extra. It's all the same shit. It's all rigged. It's all about basically is who gonna play this game that the higher ups want you to play, and who gonna just play the game what you would say accordingly, and just say I'm not taking no shortcuts and nothing. I'm gonna just play the game officially the way how it's supposed to be played.
Exactly. And again, you guys, for people who don't think they can rig the college games, look what they did last year with St. Peter's, who made our pockets fat. They get their last win in the tournament as the Cinderella story, the Jesuit program on Peacock Day. The run starts on St. Patrick's Day. Number 2, Kentucky lays down to this little tiny Peacocks team. And don't forget when Virginia lost to University of Maryland, Baltimore County, the first 1 seed to go down to a 16 seed. It was on March 16th. It was the 136th all-time meeting between the 16 and 1, which is the 16th triangular. First time the 16 seed ever beats the 1 seed. And then we told you next year, Virginia's going to win the tournament. That's why they laid down last year. Then Virginia comes back and wins the championship. And, today, if you turn on ESPN this morning, you heard it on replay. Gonzaga won their 71st game versus 71st straight game versus a non-ranked opponent. The other year before the tournament began, I told you North Carolina was going to beat Gonzaga. It was going to be all about 71. They ended up beating Gonzaga with 71 points in the championship. Last year, or 2 years ago, Baylor beats Texas with 86 points, or Baylor beat Gonzaga, Baylor beat Gonzaga with 86 points just days after Elgin Baylor died at age 86. Elgin Baylor went to the Jesuit school, Seattle University. The other Jesuit school in Washington State, Gonzaga loses. And for people who don't know, there's only 27 Jesuit universities in the whole nation, but 2 of them are in Washington State. Like the first one is Georgetown, which was established the same year George Washington became the first recognized president. But notice, that's why you can see that the Catholic Church and Jesuits run it all, because look at basketball. The first ever March Madness, the first year they did it, 85. What was the tournament? It was Jesuit Georgetown who gets beat by Catholic Villanova. Anyway. Anything else you want to say, Hussein?
Basically, do you know, because it's a lot of information that can really be passed, but it can't be all in one session. But one thing I do wanted to ask you though is do you know about the Illuminati card game that came out in like 1994?
Indeed I do, man. I've talked about that game a lot.
Right now, I think that what they've been doing is like they showing us slowly but surely how their vision is to because they want to be visionaries on which direction that they want to push the masses or the public in. And basically, I think when they be playing these games with us or dropping these little gematria little things that's going on like day to day in the media, they showing us basically which direction that we going, but only if we could read the signs, like how you could read the numbers and understand that letters are words and words are numbers. You can read it and understand which direction that they trying to bring us in. And I think when they elected Trump to come into presidency, I think that's when the Illuminati game dropped a Trump card, because they have the Trump card in the Illuminati
Enough is
game.
enough card. Yeah, I've been talking about this since before he was even president. The enough is enough card is the Trump card. And go back and watch when Jimmy Kimmel did an episode called Enough is Enough on Trump in the Masonic Temple. Go back and look at the Illuminati. The Illuminati's original purpose was to infiltrate Freemasonry. And George Washington, if you guys don't know this, George Washington has a letter in the National Archive about the Illuminati and his fear of it taking over Freemasonry. So you have this Illuminati card game with Trump's face. Enough is enough. You got Jimmy Kimmel, the Jew, in the Masonic Temple broadcasting about Trump. Enough is enough. And actually type in Donald Trump is enough and see how many times that was ran as a headline in a major publication. It's been a bunch. Yeah, for people who don't know about the Illuminati card game, all sorts of stuff in that card game. I mean, look at the picture of the terrorist strike. It looks just like the World Trade Centers. And
Yeah,
Any-
and did you even hear about that book that somebody wrote, and it was pertaining to the Trump family in New York City, and they were supposed to have a Trump Towers, and in that book's Trump's son, Byron or whatever his name is, it was like in the same format in the book for some reason. It seemed like they was talking about the Trump family, but it was like back in like the 1940s or something. It
yeah,
was an
old
old
book.
school number.
Yeah, I actually have somebody sent me that. I actually have that book on my shelf in the other room too. So the one thing I wonder about that book though is I'm like, is this real or is this one of these things where if for people who haven't seen the movie Wag the Dog, for people who haven't seen that movie, watch that movie too, Wag the Dog. That you won't understand it if you're younger, but that movie came out. Okay. For people who don't know what Wag the Dog's about, the sitting president of the United States needs to run for re-election. But what just came out in the news is that he just had sex with a 12-year-old girl who's a member of like selling Girl Scout cookies. So his campaign team's like, how are we going to get this pedophile president reelected? And what Robert De Niro's character comes in and does is he says, here's what we're going to do. You can't remove a wartime president, so we're going to create a fictional war for the television. And they're like, how are you going to do that? He's like, we're going to get the best Hollywood director. We're going to make it look like there's a real war, and this president's saving the nation. So anyhow, that movie came out right before the whole Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky scandal. And then Bill Clinton ended up being involved in these little war skirmishes over in what used to be the Soviet Union, which, dissolved and now has all those Eastern Bloc countries. But that movie was pretty much predictive programming for the whole Bill Clinton story that unfolded. And in that movie, they start making up stuff and they start inserting it in the National Historic Archive that's not real history, but now that it's in the archive, it looks like it's real history. And sometimes I even think they're just doing stuff like that with the book you're talking about. I mean, that book could be true from back in the day. That's like the Marvelous Adventures of Baron Trump. There's even an old sitcom called Trackdown, which came out. Trump was a little kid about a con man named Trump who wants to build a wall, and that actually is real. Trump was 12 years old when that came out. Don't forget, for all people who don't know, they announced Trump as the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and Berlin Wall's 45. It's all jokes every day. But, yeah, I mean, it is possible that book came out forever and it was predictive programming. It's also possible that they're pulling our chain with a few things. Because they do have the power to go back that and insult false history and change history and make people's heads spin. So,
Yeah, for real.
anyhow.
They do. One thing I want to say before you go, because you were talking about certain movies and what's the direction that they going and what's the subliminal message within the movies, is one movie that I think that I want you to watch is called John Carter from Mars.
Okay, John Carter from Mars. Okay.
Yes, John Carter from Mars. And this particular movie is about John Carter. He's a white guy from Virginia, from the state Virginia. For some reason, he comes across a person with a medallion. He touches this medallion and he teleports from Virginia, the state, and goes to Mars, the planet. And when he gets there, it's green people there that look like Goro from Mortal Kombat with the 4 arms, and then there's regular human beings that look just like us, like girls and boys. But on one side, it's a red clan, which is like the Republicans, and on the other side, it's a blue clan, like the Democrats, and they don't even like each other. But for some reason, the higher ups in the family made a alliance or amends to where that they wanted the son from one family to marry the daughter from the other family so that they can now make it like a one world order type of thing. But in the movie, it's a person that's a shapeshifter in the movie, and this is the person that we would consider that powers that shouldn't be. And in this movie, when they're about to have this ceremony, when the girl is supposed to marry the boy and they doing like a parade in the street, the shapeshifter is breaking down to John Carter that whatever's been going on in this world has been going on for eons and eons. And now that John has got to Mars and he sees the big plot and the whole scheme on how it's going on, and he try to break the cycle, the shapeshifter tells the shapeshifter basically puts him under some type of control where he can't break out of this control, and then lets him know that you don't have no dog in this fight, which means that you shouldn't be coming from where you at to try to break the cycle on what we've been doing for eons. So just sit back and take a seat and get your popcorn type stuff. So when you watch this movie, it's gonna break down to you on how the powers that shouldn't be been playing this game for eons, and they behind the scenes, and they don't want nobody like us who think that could get a bright mind or a big bold spirit to try to voice their opinion, because they will shut us down.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to check that out, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing all that information. And you have a good night, friend. Thank you.
You too. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, take care. All right, we got 2 people on hold. I'm going to let both them on, and then I'm going to tell you one more thing about Donda West death, because I forgot to cover Donda West death. But you guys, I got to get off here ASAP. So the 2 gentlemen on, if you guys can keep it to 1 to 2 minutes and get something beautiful out there. What's up, Truth Does Not Exist?
Hey, Zach, I only have one really short thing to say. When I remember we were talking about, me going over there and I help you out. Recently I got in a pretty nasty financial situation. I can tell you another time, but, whenever is a good time to talk about it, we can talk about it.
Okay. All right, man. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it.
Okay, good night.
Yeah, have a good night. All right, let's go out to, is it Rob? How you say it?
What's up, Zach?
Man?
Yeah, I used to hit you up from Vegas. I'm still in Vegas, but a couple of quick things real quick. For that dude who was just on talking about George Washington, there's another YouTube channel. I sent it to you via email a couple months ago, but it's called Sermons Room, and they have a talk on there called What's Behind the White House. And that dude needs to check that out, and a lot of your viewers need to check that out, because it explains a lot of stuff in the meaning behind the White House that people just don't get. My other thing was with Jordan coming up this year, his 59th birthday, and people were talking about the correlation between his 59 and Kobe's 41 in their names. So there's a couple different dates that are floating out there, and I didn't know if you had looked at any of those dates as far as maybe him passing.
Well, again, I'll remind people. So here, I'm going to show people how Gematria works, because, again, it was easy to predict 4 straight games for the Bulls last year. You see how Michael Jordan's 59 in the most pure cipher?
Right.
Jordan turned 59 at the beginning of this year on February 17th. And the Bulls, they had 4 straight home games right before Jordan's 59th birthday. So on the eve of Jordan's 59th birthday, they became 23-8 at home. You see how Michael Jordan's 238 when you run the alphabetic order inverse? They were 19-8. We said, this is easy, man. They're winning all 4 of these games. They're going to be 23-8 just in time for his 59th birthday. Don't forget, you guys, that Kobe was born on 23/8. That number connects to the Eye of Providence, which is a whole other thing. But where Michael Jordan equals 113, so does Kobe Bryant, so does the National Basketball Association. Huge rituals with those numbers and those 2 men. But you see how Michael Jordan's 59 and 76? Look at the word slave, 59-76. Negro, 59-76. Blues, Rasta. Look at Obama's book, A Promised Land, 59-76. Barack Obama, the nation's first black president, 76. The 44th book of the Bible, Acts 7:6, is about 400 years of slavery. I was talking about this at the start of 2019. I said, watch, August 2019 will come around. It'll be 400 years of slavery in America, according to the history books. And then watch, there'll be something really bad that happens in this nation, because Acts 7:7, United States equals 77, is about how the nation gets punished. Well, we end up getting the hardest hit nation by COVID. And again, you guys, it's not an accident. And then think about it. Obamacare, his medical program, 59, connected to slavery. And then think about what's going on with the medical system. You don't even have bodily sovereignty anymore. You're like a slave. So this stuff's not an accident, guys. We started this stream talking about 59 and the killing of black men. So, while Michael's 59, there has been some rituals with the Bulls. We'll see what happens before he turns 60. That's coming up February 17th. But go ahead, friend. I know you had more to say.
Well, yeah, it was just interesting. I was curious if you had looked, because Braun was talking about going through having a trade, and so I looked at like some of the different teams that might be options, and then some of the different correlations to Jordan maybe passing before he turned 60. And one of the correlations that seemed to cross over to me is Melo being the next crossover between Jordan, Braun, Kobe, and now him crossing over to Jordan. So I was just curious if you had any thoughts about that and what was going on with the trade situation. Also, with all this recent talk with Kanye admitting that his mom was sacrificed, any thoughts that with Bronny and all this recent talk of him and Braun together, if he might be a sacrifice coming up?
Man. Here, I'll remind you guys what's up that I think so weird about LeBron. LeBron was the first ever athlete to sign a lifetime contract with a company. And I pointed out how when he did that, Nike was 44 years old. We talked about that number just moments ago. And at the beginning of the stream, that number is connected to killing. And a lot of Black Americans have died in connection to that number, including MLK on 44, Malcolm X on the 44 date numerology. So, you know, something tells me, look, it's hard to say what age he'll go at, but I'm sure, just like the rest of these celebrities, he'll die before what would have been his true expiration date. He'll go out by the numbers. And again, I've been maintaining for years that LeBron's real father is Nate Thurmond, who wore 42 for the Warriors and the Cavs. And that's how, for you guys weren't here, before Warriors and Cavs ever met in the finals, I said,
no, I was back with you way back then. I used to support you way back then.
Yeah. So, and then, like I said earlier, Nate Thurmond died 27 days after LeBron's dropped 27 on the real King James's birthday, reminding there's 27 books in the New Testament. But there's been so many ritualistic deaths connected to LeBron. When he signed with the Lakers, just 3 days after he had signed, there was already 2 former UCLA players that just dropped dead. And there's been so many things connected to LeBron. I'm trying to think of the receiver the other year that was found dead in the Indiana River while he's back on the Cavs. Then they were playing the Pacers. You got a former NFL receiver dead in the Indiana River. I'm trying to remember who that was. He dated some other.
That one.
Who was that?
I missed that one.
He the player I'm thinking of. He dated a famous singer. I'm forgetting all their names right now, but there's been so many things connected to LeBron. So I don't know when he's going to die, but that guy has so many bodies connected to him over the years that I've been doing this. And it's sad that I forget the names, but we've been documenting the rituals, and it's been obvious when it's happened. So
James Hardy.
Say that name again. I think that's it.
James Hardy.
That's who it was.
June 8th, 2017.
That's who it was. Yeah.
Okay. Righteous. All right. Yeah. So I really, my big thing, I just wanted to drop. I heard that guy talking about the White House. That Sermons Room is the YouTube channel, and it's called "What's Behind the White House," and talking about the name of the White House and why they call it the White House and why it shouldn't actually be called the White House, but why they call it that.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up. Very interesting.
Yeah. I sent you an email. I think it was back in October, sometime about that. So. It was the first time I saw it, and I was like, "Man, this is all Zach right here." But if the guy is like speaking in front of it looks like a congregation or something like that. He's an older white dude, so it's like it's not coming from technology and people that are just out there like the QAnon type crowds or anything like that. He seems like a pretty legit dude, like older kind of dude that's been about it. And he's got some other stuff about gematria on that channel as well.
What's Behind the White House, and the guy's name one more time?
The name of the channel is Sermons Room.
Sermons Room. Okay. I'm going to check that out. I appreciate that. Another body connected to LeBron is Lorenzen Wright. So.
Oh, yeah. And he wore number 1, didn't he?
I forget, but yeah, that was for LeBron too. So.
Yeah, I think that's a tie over to LaMelo, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. All right, friend. I appreciate you coming on, man.
All right. Appreciate that.
Take care. Okay. The one thing I didn't say was Donda West. I'm going to show you guys another pattern. These patterns have connected to so many people over the years, but Donda West and Kanye. Now, again, I'd encourage everybody when you're done with this stream, if you get a chance, go to Gematria Effect Sports. It's still there. Search Larry Johnson. You'll find the interview I did with him. He spoke openly January 2020 when I did the interview that he was pretty sure that Kanye had his mom sacrificed, because he used to be connected with that whole Jay-Z rock clique. And again, Larry Johnson, who used to play for the Kansas City Chiefs, who's been speaking out for years and getting demonized in the media for speaking out. Shout out to Larry Johnson for doing it anyway. But here, I'm going to pull up Donda West, Kanye's mom. Her birthday was July 12th. She actually has the same birthday as Bill Cosby. She died November 10th. And then, again, Kanye's remarks come out November 11th, one day after the anniversary of the death. And check this out. From July 12th to November 10th, 2007 is, let me get it up here so you can see it. It is 121 days. And this is another pattern you will see a lot when you study this knowledge with suspicious deaths. In the most simple cipher, just the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order, blood sacrifice is 121. You see? 121. And you could also say, if you count the span of days, you could say she died on her 122nd day of her age. I want you to notice that San Francisco is 122. And if you're going, well, why are you showing me San Francisco? I'm going to make the point. San Francisco is 122. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Satanic is 122. And the Satanic Church was founded in San Francisco. Another pattern that shows up in a lot of nefarious crap, 122. And notice the word abortions, 122. Roe versus Wade was decided January 22nd, 122, 122 days after Jane Roe's birthday. And this year when they had the memo leak, it was May 2nd, the 122nd day of the year. And then it was overturned, Roe versus Wade, a month and 22 days later, like 122. And it was Amy Coney Barrett who made it all possible because she replaced the liberal. And the memo leaked 94 days from her birthday. And there's a lot more to say about all this. But the one point I want to make to you guys about abortion and black women is after Roe versus Wade was overturned, you heard it all week. Black women will be the most impacted by the overturning of Roe versus Wade because they make up the majority of abortions in America by a huge percentage. And think about it. The case that overturned it was Dobbs-Jackson. What happened the next week? We got the first black female Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson. And by the way, this is why you got to know it forwards and backwards. You see how African Americans 116? She became the 116th Supreme Court Justice, and she was put in 289 days after her birthday. And this is the point I'm making about, you know, these rituals. Again, they do apply to all people. You know, Gallagher just got killed by the numbers. Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, just got killed by the numbers. They're both white men. But ultimately, the people that are getting the brunt of these rituals are black people, and including abortion. And there's a reason that black communities are targeted for destruction by the power class. Again, they funnel cheap, addictive drugs into black communities in the time of the Hollywood actor President Ronald Reagan. And then right after they do that, they declare the drug war. They do it to black communities, and then they start black people in prisons where they can treat them like slave labor. And then they destroy these communities, and they take the father out of the neighborhood. And then you got all these single mothers that can't afford to have another child. And then they're all being aborted, which is essentially big ritualistic murder. And again, there's a reason that they put these numbers on things over and over and over. But yeah, you know, you guys, Kanye and Kyrie, I mean, in a way, it is good that this is happening, or it could be good if people actually realize that what they're saying has a lot of truth to it. But you have to understand the powers that shouldn't be are using these men right now to reinforce the message that if you dare speak against Jewish people, you will be destroyed financially, reputation-wise, and in whatever other way they could get you. And this very well could be, well, these are all ongoing narratives. Is Kanye going to make it past age 46? I mean, for his sake, I hope he does. But that again, you guys, in the most pure cipher, sacrifice is 46. The word rap is also 46. Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice. You know, it could be a year from now. Kanye is going to turn 46 June 8th, 2023. And you know, it could be, and that's the thing too in this world, right? Somebody dies and everyone cares for a day or a couple days, but then they just forget about it. The United States of amnesia, but it couldn't be that far off where they're going over the sad premature death of mentally ill anti-Semite Kanye West, and then they're associating through the media that the things that he said, which were actually true, are actually signs of mental illness, and they're wrong and they're evil, and you act like this, you might end up broken dead. You're from billionaire to nobody, So understand. And just like Ocho said, if Kanye West was real, he'd be sharing this work. And again, you guys, there's a lot of people who are aware of me because I put out over 10,000 videos in the last decade. CeeLo Green shared my work on his Instagram. We did the interview with Larry Johnson. He knows who I am. Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian, he got on a live stream and shared my book and told everybody to go out and get it. And then he found out I wasn't into the flat earth, so then he didn't like me anymore. Sorry, flat earthers. It's just like I've always said. I said, there's a reason Google made that thing go viral. We can argue about the shape of the earth, or we can talk about what's going on earth. And what should matter is what's going on earth. But yeah, these guys are being used right now to program society for what not to do. But somehow humanity needs to step up and take this moment and say, well, wait a minute. Is there truth to what they're saying? And you see how it is. It's like, okay. Kyrie Irving, his thing is because he shared a video called Hebrews to Negroes. He's responsible for every last thing in that video, and now he needs to be fined and pay all this money and be suspended. It's like, what kind of crap is this? America's supposed to be the land of the free, the home of the brave. Kyrie already came out and said, I don't endorse everything in the film. He said, I just think it's interesting and people should be aware of the information. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. You guys, we live in a world that's controlled by a group of people who think they're better than everyone else because it's written in their Talmud that they're the chosen ones, and everybody else is here to be their slave. That's what's written in their book. And don't be the next you-know-who to come here and say, well, you don't read Hebrew and Aramaic, so how do you know that? Before Google went through and censored everything, there used to be about 5,000 videos on this platform of Jews over in Israel gushing about how their Messiah is about to arrive, and pretty soon there's going to be 2,000 Goyim slaves for every Jew in Israel. And realize they already have that. Who do you think pays the bill for Israel? This nation does with its taxes. We let our own communities go to shit while we give billions of dollars to Israel every year. Where's billions of dollars for all the inner city communities that look like Kanye West that have been going downhill further and further for the last 50 years? So anyway, I got to leave it there, you guys. Sweet Lady's going to be home soon. Actually, I'll tell you one more thing. Sweet Lady's going to be home soon. I got to make dinner, but I got to tell you guys one more thing. Look at the name Kanye. You see how it's 56 forward, 79 in reverse? Remember, this is Jesus Walks, right? This is the guy who dresses like Jesus at his concerts. Okay, so that's what the alphabetic order forwards and backwards, 56 and 79. Look at this. When you run the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology, Society of Jesus is 56 and 79. Huge numbers with this order. And again, Tupac, On the Cross, Machiavelli. What day did that album come out? November 5th, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. Very special day to the Society of Jesus. It's Guy Fawkes Day. Remember what happened in Houston with the big cross stage at Astro World, right after the Astros lost to the Braves. And then Astro from UB40, who was also black, died. By the way, the drummer from the Ted Kennedys, who was a black man, just died at age 63, like JFK died in 63. He also died 111 days after his birthday, and Dead Kennedys is 111 forwards, and Kennedy alone is 111 in reverse. But anyway, this 5679 thing. Do you guys know what year the phrase "In God We Trust" went on the dollar bill? It went on in the year 56. And how did Kanye end his thing talking about the sacrifices of his mom and Jordan's dad and Dr. Dre's son and Bill Cosby's son, Father's son, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit? God gave his one and only son. You guys get the joke of the leader of the Society of Jesus' birthday being today, right? The 316th day of the year, John 3:16. But In God We Trust went on the dollar bill in 56, right? In God We Trust. Actually, I'm not even going to get into that. These numbers have to do with Freemasonry, which is created which was created by the Jesuits. But here's one other thing you should know about the dollar bill. One other thing you should know about the dollar bill. In the most simple cipher, I is 35. And the I went on the dollar bill in 35. The phrase "in God we trust" went on in 56, which is 21 years later. Jesuits 21, Catholics 35. I was just talking about this with the ritual they did in the game for the Panthers and the Falcons the night before the new Black Panther movie comes out, which was largely filmed in Atlanta, where the Wakandians go against the Atlanteans. And it was filmed in Tyler Perry's studio, who's had a lot of sacrifices next to him. Again, the Panthers became 21-35 versus the Falcons in the 56th meeting, while number 56 for the Panthers has Bozeman on his back. And it was all synced up with Chadwick Boseman's death. Again, it was 115 weeks after his death as the Panthers picked up the 115th win. But I, the thing that controls all things, the thing that sees all things. Notice, you guys, on the dollar bill, the I has sun rays coming off of it, right? To the occult, the sun is the eye of God. The Catholic Church used to be a pagan sun cult that celebrated the sun in the sky's birthday on 12/25. The square root of 1225 is 35, right? 1225 has a square root of 35. The I is the sun. The I on the dollar bill has sun rays coming off of it. Kanye West, Yeezus. He has all these Jesus references. He's talking about sacrifice. And then he closes it out by talking about how he's still rich and he's blessed by God. Don't forget the word God has the same gematria as dollar. And again, I think that's part of the important message you guys got to pay attention to. These people are crazy, man. There's a lot of crazy people in this society, and there's a lot of people who will do crazy things for money, including sacrifice their own mother. And, if my mom's out there watching, even though I have a hard time getting along with my mother and she absolutely drives me nuts, I wouldn't sacrifice my mom for any amount of money. And it's sad to think there's people in this world who would, including the likes of Kanye West. So you guys don't start celebrating these people as heroes, because they're not. They might be putting out elements of truth, but, like he's pointing your head, you got to think. You got to think. Why is he going on Piers Morgan? Every entertainer in the world, if they're really about changing things, they should be sharing all the same information I just told you on this stream tonight. Imagine if Kanye West did this live stream. Then the world might change, because everyone cares about celebrity. Everyone's been programmed to worship celebrity and be so infatuated with celebrity. I'd rather be on here tonight not having to use Kanye West in my live stream title. But that's what gets people in the room. Had I put a title up here tonight with something other than Kanye West, there still would have been a good audience, but we wouldn't have had 2,000 people in here. Between the 3 platforms I'm streaming on, we had 2,000 people in here tonight. Without Kanye West in the title, maybe we have 500, People are so attached to celebrity. We've been trained and programmed. And this is more training and programming what's going on right now. So, anyhow, got to make that dinner. Take care of your sweet lady. Don't sacrifice anybody for any money. And again, quit with the celebrity worship. And also find your courage and speak out. That was the one thing that happened to me when I found this knowledge. I shared it with my friends and family, and they all started calling me names and schizophrenic, and people thought I lost my mind. My best friend, I wasn't even invited to his wedding anymore. Those are the consequences of speaking out. But if more people get brave and courageous, that won't be the trend. The reason all my friends renounce me is because, it's just easier to fit in and denounce the truth. That's the thing that's got to change about this world. So, and if anybody does want to support the work, I'll say one more thing. Again, you guys don't have to support the work. I make everything I do free. But if you want to download the books, come to my website, GematriaEffectNews. Scroll down to the top pin post. Download ebooks for free. Get them for free. Or up at the top of the page, you can go to ebooks. You can pay for them if you like. Again, if we can raise funds, we can do bigger things. It does take resources to do things. If you guys missed out, I've been all over the country this year, pounding pavement in the streets, getting the knowledge out in the streets. We just had a real big impact in New York for the weekend of 9/11. It takes resources to do that. I'm able to do that thanks to the people who do support the work. But again, for people who cannot afford to, that's why I make everything free. If you want a physical copy of the book, all of these links here are where you can get physical copies. If you live outside the United States of America, there are some links for international places. But again, thank you to the people who do support the work. And by the way, if you do like to just donate, also on this page, there are places: PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, P.O. Box. Do appreciate it. We'll leave it there for tonight. And until next time, Truth Seeker.